this is like on top of the mountain. You can look on down, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And these guys, I think from what it said after, like they moved from there and they went to like Dominican or something like that, or they might be from Dominican, something like that. Yeah, Concession Street was like had a lot of people actually. That's what he said. Force.
You know, there's a map that will show you, if you look at certain maps, they'll show you that not just like Hamilton region, but a lot of southern Ontario is what they call Neutral Territory, Great Lakes region. And you gotta figure that there's tribes all over, both east and west of here, that's gonna take a pretty strong people or a universal diplomatic agreement and keep a certain region neutral. Neutral meant that there actually were no tribes that controlled that land. So that name went down. That's even though it's supposed to be a tribe that's out in territory. That's why I'm looking at it. Yeah. You gotta consider that the Great Lakes region is the meeting place of Mississippi and the St. Lawrence River. So you get into the Americas through the Gulf Stream from West Africa, Mali, and you arrive in the Caribbean. It's almost impossible if you're in that Gulf. It's not. Yeah. Whether you're shipwrecked or your ship's in pieces, it's gonna get to the Caribbean. And then from there, if you want to get back, you go into Nova Scotia, Newfoundland area, and there's a jet stream that'll kind of take you in a similar fashion back toward Northwest Africa, Mauritania, and Western Europe. And that's the flow. And in other words, what you do is you come up the Mississippi. Once you get to the Caribbean, you come up the Mississippi, and you get to you're in the Great Lakes region. You're here. And from here, you get to the St. Lawrence, and you go east, and you're out into the Atlantic again. Because you don't want to fight against the current, and you don't want to also go to the open ocean and just have to paddle all the way. You have to climb up all the circle. Yeah, you have to come all the way up here, and then after that, to go back, go across. You have to go kind of across the floor. You have to follow the grain, right? That's it. Yeah. It's like your hair.
Going backwards, you never get wasted.
Don't go against the grain.
Yeah, the waves this way, you're gonna have the mullet in the back. You're gonna have the.
I'll touch on what feedback out there.
Camelback.
Yeah. It's just so open to us. You know, it says like most of the Americas, it's not even saying Canada. It's saying the Americas, right?
Yeah.
It's not even saying it's like most of Canada. It's saying like most of the Americas south of the tree line, the original inhabitants of the Hamilton Indians, right? So they want us this so-called country Canada, they would be saying Canada. But why Canada was even around?
Well, that's crazy too, because this morning I was checking some Hamilton, and 1830 something, Hamilton was incorporated.
Yeah.
So when Hamilton's older than Canada, which again, if all the quote unquote cities are older than the country, then something's obviously wrong here. Yeah. Something has to be wrong here. Yeah, right. The state of Hamilton. Right. Yeah. Omar was saying just for the Moors with dealing with the headbutting, with getting our people, you know what I mean, on this. They want me to read Kavita and Torah. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the Prophet to a destiny which is neither uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. All right, so we'll just go back. Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the Prophet to a destiny which is neither uncertain nor unknown. And so because we have a prophet, we know that the prophet's guided by Allah. So because he's guided by Allah, he already knows where he's going. So there's no uncertainty as far as the direction of this. Or whether you say God, Yahweh, whatever, is guiding the prophet, right? They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So the foundation of this is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Once that's the foundation, then we could build on that. Once love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is the soil that we're putting the seeds in, then something has to manifest. It's automatic that it's going to manifest. And you know, with the case without here, you know, for us it was 10 years for us to manifest. That we actually have a location that's a location now, and then we could go. We've got satellite places, and we go to other places, and people are coming to us, and right. In 5 years, what would be going on in this jurisdiction relative to Moors? You know, what would be going on in other jurisdictions relative to Moors? How much did people put in? You know, as far as their energy and their time and things like that, so that where they are, there's something that, like Omar was talking about earlier, when we were in the car coming up here, that, you know, we want the things that we want to do is so that nobody could say we never did anything. Nobody could look at Canaanland more and say, well, they had a church going on, they were there, whatever like that. Like, it's not happening. They're going to be able to say, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, okay, well, go check their track record. Let's go check. You know what I mean? They got, you know, people got pictures, people got whatever to show. Right? It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. So Drew Ali's bringing this to the level of us seeing beyond the planes. Let's get into dimensions and realms and different frames of mind so that we can have some loftier things manifest for us, right? Please, Mark. They try, but their own bad planning brings down the wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path. So these are, you know, the individuals that along the path, we're gonna meet into those people that's gonna take a flyer or take the number. Yeah, I'll call you, man. I need to find out about this. Like, they could have something that's about to go down, and they need the Moors right now. Still don't call. We talk to them a year later or whatever. Talk about, oh man, you know what happened?
I was raising with and I was showing him the vibes, and he's like, you know, I'm not ready to go on the Moorish thing. I'm just ready when it's actually
set up,
and when it's set up, and the revolution is drawn near, and then that's when I'm ready. And I'm like, yo, bro, then if you know all of this stuff and you're waiting on the revolution, where's the numbers? We are supposed to build the numbers now to get everything in order to, execute that main mission. So, like, to me, it's like fear.
Yeah.
Because, like, basically what he's saying is that if we all come together and we're doing this,
the bigger heads, the so-called white people, are going to try to eradicate what we're doing.
Yes.
That's normal. That's natural. We are going to get a fight.
They're doing that already.
Right?
Talking about eradicate something.
You know?
They're doing that right now. You know?
It's not fair, it's laziness.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's what I always feel
You
like.
want someone else to do the work. That's what
Your favorite topic, the lazy boys.
So you said that the brother, I don't know the brother I've seen in years. And man, the situations that I've been looking at this, and it's so interesting. It's like I'm showing him about rights that I'm got converted to privileges, and I'm showing him one of those examples like driver license we got converted that converted the right to privileges. And he's like, man, the same thing I'm talking about, man. I got my license suspended. Like, and that's the same brother. Yeah. So it goes, I'm gonna call you tonight, man. The brother called me, but as I answered, it's like the phone hung up. Yeah, call back. No response.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the uniform, but like once you tell them and you show them, they're like, yeah, you know. And but even your own person that you're even live with, you know, like, oh, it's real, bro. It's real. Like you know, all those books, and they say like for instance, the book of the dead and all that stuff. Or when you read about when Jesus talks about those who were with him, he was preaching all this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, that's exactly like today. It's real. That's real stuff. That's how you know you're walking in the right path. You know what I mean?
There's nobody.
Nobody beside you. Like even I was reasoning with the mother of my child, bro, and like the funny thing. She see me on my own stuff. She see me read my stuff. I show her videos. We watch videos and everything. You know this so-called Caucasian lady that says she's going to destroy racism in a minute, and she has this video surfacing on the internet, and she's like, one human race, and all the stuff that we know already, right? But she's still preaching this black thing, and she made this book. And my baby mom is watching the video, and she's like, I have to get this book. No. I have books. She never took up one from. But this Caucasian woman is she's gonna do her fun, like you know.
Divine national movement.
A couple of things though. One of the things, first of all, if any more you can walk by the open window there, take a look across the way, and you can tell me what you see, the image on the wall there. It's ordained. You see where it says West Mount Collegiate? You see that it has two triangles upwards and two triangles downwards?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these things are here in front of you. It's right there. It's telling you in the right spot. Two triangles up, two triangles down. It's a higher and below yourself, right there.
Oh,
Giving you those symbols in front of you.
Oh, you're too deep, man.
It's not deep enough to a certain degree. And one of the things you're talking about when you're talking about walking on that path, what I've realized, what they've been telling us, it just came to me while you guys were discussing this. Each one of us is supposed to become the Christ.
Yeah.
Each one of us is supposed to become that expression of Christ. Yeah. One of us is going through all of those things. What they've done is they put it outside of ourselves. So you think what they're really doing is they're really giving you a bibliography of yourself to follow. And instead you're looking at it as this is someone else that's doing something else. And what you have to do. So those are some of the things. And the last thing I've noticed that I've been seeing myself when I'm trying to turn around, I think somewhere in there, I think it happened right around, when they made mention, like the Pope said, this is going back a couple years, that he hadn't watched TV in 25 years. This is about 3 or 4 years ago. I thought to myself, what I started to realize is that they're giving you coded messages all the time. And the messages are so coded that depending on your level, they're telling you something at this level, they're also telling you something at that level. So it's sort of like it's a multi-dimensional message that's given, and you're hearing it at the level that you're able to hear it at, right? So ultimately,
it's like the channels, when you flip the channel, like the radio station, and you kind of hear that other station on that channel, frequency, right?
Well, exactly, but I'm talking about this in terms of vibratory stuff, where there's levels. So, yes, when you start feeling like an emotion towards something like love, that's that next frequency. If you don't act upon it, you act upon the I need to get $1, then you know what I'm saying? As an example, those are those levels that you see, but they're existing. That's what we talk about multi-dimensions. At any time, you can just go left and right, do this and that, and all of a sudden you're in a different dimension. Because you're actually doing something different than you would be. It's dimensional, right? The dimension of love is different than the dimension of hate.
Yeah.
Right? And the things that are happening on that dimension are different.
Yeah.
Right? So what I realized when he said to me, not watching TV for 25 years, what I think they realized, different than radio. I don't know if you guys all remember War of the Worlds, that had people thinking that they were actually Martians coming down. People were like running through the streets, grabbing their shit. Like this was a major thing. And I think that was the beginning of them understanding what mass memory control was all about. And it's evolved into TV now, where you're plugged in. You know, I noticed it too. I come home, there's a book there, and then there's the TV in CP24, and I know I'm getting shit off of that because they're giving you the messages, but really it's in the book.
In the book,
But the issue is that they dumped your brain down now. So your empress, who's got gold right here, is looking for gold from all of her jewelry on the TV. If you see what I'm saying, right? But that's because the TV is the drug that she's got. So she's not even hearing you.
And
you got the real drug right here, but she wants the drug that's coming through that medium. It's that way that your brain is touching. It's
cover the book back to 84.
Right.
But read it up.
It says peace, freedom,
No, it's a word. So this is, I don't know if you guys know the book, anybody read the book 1984. One of the covers is on a site here. It says, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
That's ignorance.
And that, you know, all we've been talking about from the beginning, and that mentality, that's it. If you read the book 1984, you know where that's coming from. I just want to put that out there for them. This scrolling on the other side.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with your empress. And the television, as I said, she's got the real stuff right there. Instead of watching some European cinema, you don't even know it's in the book. Then you pick it up, she's already bought it, so to speak, right?
see, but that's part of the importance of us having what it is that we have. Because trust me, we know Moors, right? Whose wife, mate, consort, whatever, was talking BS or whatever. And 6 months later, they were just doing something or whatever like that. And he ended up saying something crazy like city of something or whatever. It's like, hey, what are you talking about? What do you mean city or whatever like that? Are those corporations and all that stuff? I was looking at her like, when you even started. So we're you know, with the bills that Moors are having like this in their little circles or whatever, they're finding out that don't even worry. 6 months, bro. She's sneak studying while it appears that she's not hearing nothing that you're saying in the background. Right? Exactly. Little small ones, just realize little small ones. They're just, you know, doesn't bring up anything. Just let it, just see it, but don't see it.
But I think it comes back to what I was saying before, in regards to the fact that you sort of shut off, and I guess this must be from where the master sorcerers are, you shut off that ability of saying, can I ask you a question? I have no shame in asking questions. I don't know, I want to know. I'm willing to tell you that I don't know, please help me. A lot of people cannot admit to that.
Yeah.
You ever notice that? Will not admit to not knowing something. They're with a grave talking bullshit.
Knowing they don't know.
And then afterwards, you know, like you said, they go off because they wanted it. That's the other part that's incredible.
Yeah.
If you break that, that's something to think about. If you break that thing that makes them want to see something in a way, to not be able to see something because they don't know.
Yeah.
To be able to open them up to stuff and not make them feel like, don't you know that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of, I think that's what it is, right? That something's been bred into us or something.
But the funny thing though, you said that I've experienced that heavier since I came to Canada. It's like a thing. It's like you can't reason with a brother. You can't show him something. It's like it's a competition.
Exactly.
It's like if I don't. It's like if I know and I'm trying to show, you're like, no. It's like you don't want to accept the fact that it's like.
Your
It's like a force.
brother knows something more than you.
But I think, you know what, I think it's, I think we talked about this before, I think one of the things we have to start is the evolution of ourselves as the higher ones. We've got to lay info out there, but we can make it personal. Let it simmer with them. So you need to see them like a frying pan that you're just throwing a piece of fish on, and let them look cook with that. Something's going to come to them. You sort of open that up, a piece of tofu, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. Maybe we have to change our reactions to that. It's like we're trying to save it, right?
Yeah.
Grab the life preserver. They don't want to grab it. That's what they tell you in swimming. You can't go up to those guys.
But another problem is we feel that we're not being watched.
But
We acknowledge what we're doing, but they're watching. Like they're behind the freaking fridge door like this.
Oh yeah.
Like watching you while you're doing your work. You know what I mean? They're watching. It's like my whole family. They have a just like how you guys have the whole group, the group app. My whole family, we all have a group app. I'm the only one that didn't know what, like, I'll be posting stuff, and then they'll just be like, you know, the eyes that go like this. Nobody said nothing. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
They go to their own private channel.
Yeah.
There's that crazy cousin. There's that crazy cousin.
They know, like, I got it's my cousin, but it's my godmother. Her husband, Margaret, he's Trinity, and his children, they're on Instagram. They're liking all my stuff on the Moorish. They're liking every one of it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you're not black, you're this, da da da. You know, they're liking all of it. They're getting that knowledge. They're getting that knowledge. You know what I mean? But like, it's kind of sad that the parents will sit there and show them like, yeah, it's true, da da da. You know, not to say that they're saying, well, I know it's interesting, whatever. But like, still, like, they're reading it, they're seeing it. You know what I mean? They're like, it's kind of sad because even most of my Italian friends and my Portuguese friends understand.
They get it, yeah.
It's more than the people that are like poor. You know what I mean? Like, they understand it more. Like, you know, it's just like, yo. Yo, there's like, I thought myself.
Here. So for people in other lands, they know the truth already. There's no wall that you have to break with them. There's nothing that you have to overcome.
Like they would have taught in school about more, like what more is. They taught in school. They didn't teach us that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Now, when you talked about this earlier about your wife and how she was listening to you, but then she couldn't see this Caucasian.
Yeah.
This is a problem that people in general. If Dr. Phil, right? Or someone else of that caliber, all of a sudden it becomes issue.
Yeah,
It's not
true.
We have a problem. We have a problem not wanting to hear our own people. And that's why we're so screwed up. Our health is bad, our education is bad, we're in the prisons, we're dying young, and all that stuff. Because we want to listen to these people that tell us eat meat, you know, and drink alcohol and all that other stuff. But if somebody, one of our people comes and says, no, you shouldn't have any starch, and you shouldn't do this, and this is what you should do to be healthy.
Yeah.
And as Cujo is doing, teaching us about nationality and things like that, we don't want to hear it from our own.
Right.
But let some Caucasian come into the picture and tell you who you are, and what you shouldn't be doing. All of a sudden, you're ready to listen, because they have it all, and we don't know anything. That's what it boils down to.
It cheeses me, and I can't control it anymore. I could have viewed it if I can't do it no matter what, you know?
My sister, we used to go to the US sometimes, And a friend of ours used to teach yoga. I used to invite my sister all the time, but she never used to come. All the time. Some European women work in
That's like European. Hey, that's like European yoga. Wait, think about it. That's what I'm talking about. The vibratory rate. Vibratory rate is that's yoga now.
Yeah.
It wasn't yoga when her sister was telling her that. Yeah. It's yoga when that's the vibratory level, right? That's her master. That's the person who
she wasn't even trying it when we told her something.
One of the things I realized, I'm sure we all do it, but I realized the biggest part is, because as I said, we spend more time on that sort of media, the junk docs, is that there's none of our people that are talking at all.
Yeah. No, they're
They're talking.
part of the agenda now. Anybody who looks like us on the idiot box is part of the agenda.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying that aside from Oprah, who, but when you think about it, you're saying that they're not listening to us. They listen to Oprah. I'm telling you, the record numbers.
Because Oprah says that.
You say that they're not listening to us. What I'm saying is they have basically ruined themselves by telling those messages. Well, we don't even get that way.
Yeah.
The person that's talking that type of knowledge is never going to get that way. That's the whole point. The medium they would show us. You want to see some brothers turn on a basketball game. And say, like, this is to me is where the real problem is. Listen to some music. Where are the intellectuals? You see them on CNN, some of the brothers who are sold out, right? But they're never talking anything. They're never talking anything that we want to hear. That's real. Right? But I mean, but that comes from the fact that we're watching that shit.
Where they start talking some stuff, and as soon as they notice they're getting close to it, then they either have some dirt on them or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Go up?
You heard what?
No.
Oh, I heard about that.
What did he name up now?
Accusation.
What is he bringing on him? When recently?
Just the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, something of the day.
What's his name?
Neil deGrasse.
So listen to us.
Anybody doesn't know Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Astrophysicist.
He's the older brother who's breaking it down on TV now.
But he started off kind of, Discovery Channel, National Geographic, and then recently we catch him on, he's on Sway in the Morning a couple years ago, and he's getting into the back with he's a brother, so he's getting back to the people, teaching, the science and this is how the planets really work, and this solar system, and so on and so forth, and sort of sliding sort of into metaphysical type topics that obviously come up in these forums, and so it's just funny that it's just now this last week these accusations came up.
Obviously,
sexual
you see it at the end of the day, right? You're
Sexual misconduct.
Something happens on a night, who knows, you know what I'm saying? What little stuff, but if you simmering, then why didn't something be talked about at that point, right? It's sort of shit.
10 years later. 20 years ago, we must have something in this video or whatever. Yeah.
Because there's no way to prove it. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it's funny, the Patrick Brown guy, we had 2 15-year-old girls come out and said that he'd done stuff to him. He's still, I don't know if you guys saw that, same PC guy who they shot out from.
Oh, Patrick Brown. Yeah.
Patrick Brown, and they had assertions that these 2 girls said that he was inappropriate with them.
Yeah.
He even came out with the darkened screen and stuff, and the man battled them down, and I see him 6 months later, he's running for mayor.
Yeah.
Running for mayor and winning.
Yeah. Not just running.
I think I was watching the same video with the survey, and he was talking about how when we needed somebody in Congress, during the one time it was like the Moorish came together and we put somebody there, you know what I mean? But there's still Negro, black people outside doing whatever, you know what I mean? So that's what Europeans are doing. They come together and when they need somebody to go into seat, they get it done, you know what I mean? So not just Europeans.
Yeah, everybody's on it now. I at this point, everybody's in
But what I realized, but the reason why I realized all that time is they're coming from an economic base. So you have that guy in Brandon who's a seat. Because you got 5,000 guys all in an area.
Yeah.
That's how everyone else does it, but us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but,
We got so much churches, man. Those churches, man. Oh my God. Those churches.
Yeah.
The European place.
yeah.
That's where most of our
They show ties, bro. Like every month they give a certain amount of money in an envelope.
Yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
Percent of the week.
Gotta do it.
And that's different than what they do in the time every Sunday.
They're collecting souls.
Yeah.
They tell you they're collecting souls.
It's a business because they farm out for the tax each year and they get back
Everything.
thing from that. It's a business.
Everything.
Registered as a business. All churches.
Except they don't take taxes or anything like this.
In case you forgot, we were reading Kavita and Torah. See where the next line. See where the next line takes us. Right on. They better pay. They better pay.
But in Chicago right now,
Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. So I don't know if any Moors could talk on that. The idea of, like if we're talking again about the battling with our people, with certain things. So when early out, when my mom was battling with Jesus and whatever like that, then the Drew Ali part of the fence was the Quran. So he says Jesus in there.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? You're not gonna, it says Jesus in there. Yeah, but it says Quran and I'm not Muslim and whatever like that. Like, what's that have to do with anything? It says Jesus there. You love Jesus, right? You know I love Jesus. All right. So,
Love Jesus our perish.
right?
Love Jesus our perish. Why?
is that an ultimatum?
Even in the Bible, when they say, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life." But when in the Quran said, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, and He clothed Him in skin and flesh, so that we could understand, we could comprehend." That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say what makes more sense than the other because the Quran, the Quran is Bible friendly, you know what I mean? Like, what's his name posted there? I forgot his name, but I was watching one of his lectures. But like they're both black.
Yeah, but the Christian perspective of it is giving you it's like giving you one alternative.
Yeah.
No,
if you don't do it this way,
you're
done for.
It's peaceful and justice we are preaching. That's not it. That's not true. That's not true. You know, that's not it.
That's fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
And that's not about fear, you know? That's not it.
You're talking about being on the corner and hanging on fire. Two brothers, Europeans actually, hanging on fire for love Jesus or perish.
Yeah. Where did you find the short? And you're hanging on to like pamphlets.
Yeah, you probably pray, you know what I mean? So if any more have any ideas or thoughts on Noble Drew Ali's latent powers being abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment.
And let's get started with the police. You know, we'll have to look at courts and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. It's what was saying. It's the energy, it's the spirit, you know. When you know the prophet was on a spiritual journey, and you say it, the prophet says, "Let me take it." You know, and you understand when you follow this path and how it moves and says, like for example, I was letting you go studying when I was like, especially gonna get to the point with myself, my journey is when it was like, the talk said I wouldn't drink or smoke. You know what I mean? They said don't stop all at once. Like, it's just like that, right? When you take that in, you actually take in what you present, what the prophet presented for you, right? Take this to save yourselves. You see what he did for himself to save himself, and he tells you to imitate him. Yeah, it's basically telling you where things should be going. So it's like your own spiritual. So anything can happen at any given time. The mechanism is to keep them up front. Yeah. When you don't keep them up front, it's fair game. It's all everything. I don't even think it's fair game. I think you lost that game because you ever kept them up front.
If that statement were not true, we would not be here today.
Sure.
I had a problem with my phone. I wanted to turn it on this morning. None. The green light blinking at me. And I already know that, Mom's likes to know where she's going, how she's getting there, and that's totally cool. And part of me is like, okay, what can I do to rectify this before I have to, get the next something. So I tried to call the house, didn't get anyone at the house. I tried to get on my email. Email's like, oh yeah, you can get on, but you just need to let us send you a password on your phone to verify. I need my email because my phone don't work. Okay, so now it's getting kind of close, and I got to tell them on my phone that works. And I don't have the address to this place or the directions or anyone's number. So we go downstairs, I'm still keeping it positive, most keeping it very positive. And everything just worked out. The person downstairs was able to help us. We sent out an email that a distress call that no one really even had to answer because before they got that email, we had the information. We got in touch with the officer and we learned how to get down there, no problem. But the whole time, even before I told them, I didn't even want to tell them because I'm like, I know we're going to get here. Yeah. Well, I know that everything is bliss. Yeah. That I'm supposed to be here right now, and I'm just walking the path that I'm supposed to. So I definitely feel the presence of, Mudra today and any day that I'm walking the right path.
Yeah, that's what I was. But I just want to turn back off that from the different. Piggyback. It says that not a lot help themselves. So to take that much more to heart. Because even this morning, when 2 more were with me, I left luckily enough, it was a man of water down. I left my wallet there. I was spending all morning trying to call him, and it sort of really threw everything off. It's half an hour late to get the chairman. I was, whatever. Everything ended up coming together because I got myself so much time that it worked out properly. But I realized that I think all of us know our foibles and our weaknesses that we have. And I think it's incumbent upon us to look at those things in that's part of the purification, the evolution of ourselves, is the getting rid of that stuff. So for example, or from my perspective, because now it's become home, and as I was leaving his place, I knew I'd forgotten something. But his energy was like, so when are you leaving? I was like, so when someone asks me when you're leaving, you sort of know. Time to go. About 10 minutes. But not even, no, it was like it was done in so when do you think you're planning to go? You know what I mean? Sort of, I think I'm planning to go when, 10 minutes. Get all my shit together. But as I left, I knew I didn't have all my shit. It was just, you had it. So I got in the car, it was rainy, it was tough to get back. And then this morning, as I'm heading out, I can't find the shit. And then I'm tearing all my shit up. And my empress is like, you always do this. And I was like, I always clean up after you. No, it's not me. It is you. It's not me. Yes, it is. So, and I raced out of there, and I realized I tracked the brother down. He said, yeah, I've been trying to call you since yesterday to tell you that you left here. So I realized that's on me. But for the first part of that, I'm cursing. Who am I cursing? I'm cursing like the the card company, why do I even need my strong license? What do I care about that? I don't know. Why do I need my bank card? Because I'm in those situations where I created this problem. It's me. It's all me. I forgot that. No one else did. Not the devil. It's not, you know, so I have to take responsibility for this. Because this isn't the first time. That's the problem. And I think we all can speak to that. It's not the first time. So, like they say, first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me. 50 millionth time, well, yeah. That's how I'm at. These guys know it. Oh, how about the key, you remember? So we're there, let's go by the temple, because if not stuff, I'm putting the sign up, showing the temple, and because I'm still looking for the pouch, right? I've left these guys inside so I can tear the car apart properly, right? Because you don't want to speak, so, you know, hands under there. There's nothing to do, dirt and stuff, right? None of that. And now I can't find the keys to the car. So I'm tearing the car apart with the keys.
Hold it, you hold it? You hold it?
And then, and I noticed Cujo says he's in there going to the washroom. But it's like, because I'm waiting for him to come out, just like Sarah or Fortune. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna come out and say, what the heck? Where are the keys? Right? I know, so I get nervous. Sweat. Terry was like, what's going on? I'm like, I can't find the keys, right? Tesla moved to the car house and shit me around Tesla stuff. And then as I come running to the door, Joe was didn't do this before, right? Goes out and he must have been standing at the door waiting. Because as I come to, oh, look at this. I said, you're actually in there? I said, you're actually in there with the key? He goes, I have the keys, but I wasn't going anywhere. So this is where it's gotten to. I'm saying that he knows because ultimately I'm trying to bring 6,000 things. Right? So, but that is part of our stuff. We have to look at our faults with unjaundiced eyes and say, okay, how do I get better at this?
And recognizing that it's a process of getting better at whatever it is.
But be aiming in the right direction. Knowing that, you know, it's not about trying to get the so-called Benjamins, it's about trying to uplift my family. Go ultimately, you know, this is, I don't know, maybe we can finish that.
No, we got some time.
No, just, I was out at the same person when I left my couch. I went there, he's a brother who, you know, I don't know, anyways, he works for,
some people.
He works within law enforcement stuff, not law enforcement. But anyways, he's made it sort of, you know, living out in Waterdown, just north of Highway 5. You know, where the fully detached homes. The fully detached homes up there.
Waterdown,
No, you know, you walk in there, but I was saying to the boys, remember when you used to be uncle's house who made it? This is what we can really get. The staircase and the displays, and cover the lower living rooms, you know what I mean? And the weather and all that stuff. And, you know, so I was having this discussion with him that I'm trying to break the knowledge down so that he's really stuck in his ways because he's much more stuck. Because he's actually part of the set of people that are, you know, he's the Uncle Tom. For his couple pieces of silver, but it's nice silver. A little bit of a inside. No, we'll smoke inside, not outside. Well, what do you mean inside? Well, you know, I don't want neighbors to, whatever. You know,
inside.
Me and my girl get kind of dirty, but I don't let anyone know. Right? So we're there, and I started going, well, you know, it's just about understanding that we have created everything. So, you know, when we're here in the state, and I have been admitting that our people and our communities are in a mess, and I said, well, you know, I said, so because I told them, this is me, this is Homer. I'm like, you know, I pulled up and I said, hey, this is what I'm looking to get to, right? We detached home with enough space for my efforts to meet, we live in a small place, a couple of cars, the ability to go on vacation. To me, that to me is just, what do we call it? When you come from someone that's comfortable, right? Most of us don't have that.
What's that? What's
that? Comfortable. So I'm asking, I'm saying, you know, like sort of having this and having this ability, he's like, well, you know what? And I realized how, you know, I've seen it, and it must be the same for the guys who make the money. It's like the money is the vibratory rate at makes them sort of now they become someone different. Because when they were struggling too, they understood all of that.
Yeah.
But now when you start talking about, well, you know, I look at what you got and say, hey, I should have that. Well, you know, you really shouldn't be looking at what other people have. Really? I should be looking at what you have and expect that I should be able to have that. So I should have them with my little rat's nest. Well, yeah, you know, brother, you should just be focused on your own stuff. This motherfucker. I started to realize that this was, but what I realized was because he's got there. And he's scared now. He's absolutely scared because he's loving it. But I was telling him the story. About this story, right? So he comes into town with a real jerk all the time. We sort of hang out and watch a little ball game and have a little food. And so I said, let me come out there. My conveyance has been having some issues. Finally got it together. I said, let me get out there and come visit you. So that's what I did yesterday, right? So then I was like, you know, sometimes I eat chicken a little bit. I'm just telling you that, right? So because he's one of those. You're the devil. I come over to your house. You got some pork. I was hungry. I was hungry all the time. Say Hail Mary, sorry. So he's talking about that, but so he's the whole analogy. So I'm in there, and I haven't seen him for a while. They used to have a little patty thing that go around to like the, remember it used to be, what was the thing that they had downtown? I've gone to it every year, Afrofest? Afrofest. So a little patty machine. I used to come in there, just have a bit of help, you know, help keep the whatever it was, move the juices, run from the truck. So we're out there, and I hadn't seen the Empress in a while. I see her, and she's like, it looks like she's been like sort of like the life has been sucked out of her. It's like, what's going on here? I seem happy, you know, a big house, and we're working, and she's like working on this thing, and I'm like, after a while, I'm like, because she didn't seem like she wanted to tell me anything. I'm like, so what are you working on? Oh, I'm trying to get my women's thing done. I'm like, oh really? He's like, yeah, she has to get it done because. And she says to me that she's trying to get a part-time job, work at the liquor store, just to do this women's testing. But she's got a full-time job that she works at making, it's 3 12-hour shifts, so 3 days she can get a full week's done. So she has 4 days spare, but she's done her work. He's got her convinced, well, because he's making more money, that she needs to sort of pull some more weight. So now she's trying to, Neil, rather than honoring your Empress, and then have a little sit down here, he's cracking the whip. You know? And she's like, well, I failed the test. He's like, well, do you think you failed because you're sitting here talking with us? She's like, no, I can costume. So then they start getting back and forth, I'm like, okay.
So, what do you think you're gonna read?
Right, no, yeah. No, it wasn't like that. So then, anyway, as they were coming up, I wanted to buy some food. He's like, well, Hamilton's not like downtown. You can get whatever you want. I guess you're spoiled to it, right? You want this, there you go, 2 blocks to get your shit.
And that jerk moose from Hamilton.
So he's like, it's not like that. I said, well, how's this? I'll get the fish. You make up the things. He wants to start eating well, which is what I want to do, but I know sometimes you can't. It's a fat boy too. You got to take what you can get. Right? So pork chops, I might have to take the fez off. So, anyways, yeah, what? Confessions of a dirty Moor. Went to town, and the first day he work, I don't know, it was so good. Then we had a conversation with Cameron. Hold on. So anyways, this is going back to what we have and what we don't have, right? So I say, let me get these guys the fish. He's going to make the peas or whatever. I'll get the fish, right? So I live right near St. Lawrence Market, and then there's like no frills or whatever. I said, well, I guess I gotta spend money. First of all, it's me. I'm supposed to be meeting him, and then his Empress is there. He's like, just take me and you a piece of fish. Don't get her one. I'm like, this brother's trying to set me up, right? I wish I could 2 pieces of fish, right? And she's sitting. I said, I'm not letting this guy do this. So I told him I buy 3 pieces of fish.
Yeah.
Now, in St. Lawrence Market, because it's tourist, the 3 pieces of fish, salmon, cost me $50, right?
Should have went to Kensington Market.
Well, whatever. Yeah, exactly. We didn't have time. It's 7 in the morning. I had to get this. So I get up there, and so this long drawn out process where we're sitting in the kitchen like this, making food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch the ball game, but I gotta pretend like I'm watching them cook, right? This is why I didn't want this. Right?
Yeah.
So he's cooking. Salmon's in there baking.
You can see him there, right? You can see him sitting there.
Yes, bro. So he started eating the fish, and he starts going, "Oh, this stuff is so wonderful. It's great fish." I said, "It better be. I paid $50 for it, right?" And he goes, "Well, why'd you have to mention the price?" I said, "I mentioned the price because this is what the deal is." I said, "To get good food, you need to spend money on it." It's after the argument he's telling me about how it's not about the money, about not focusing on whatever anything else. But I said, to get good quality stuff now, they make this stuff, but why shouldn't we deserve that? Why shouldn't that be our
Why
standard?
should we have the bottom of the barrel?
I'm the only Asiatic in there. There's a bunch of Euros in there buying stuff. Whenever I go to Big Carrot, there's Euros in there buying good food.
Yep.
Like, so that means that, you're telling me I gotta focus on my stuff. You're in your big house with your bimmer, and so you see the mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset really is about you being satisfied with having less while everyone else has more. It's crazy. It's not right.
That's that European psychology right there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is coming from a brother.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Exactly. It's always our own.
No, but I also get to the point too that he's pissed off that I mentioned the price because it sort of shocked him that I spent that kind of finance, and he's trying to basically pick his woman up to work, double work, and
you don't even want to give her a piece of fish.
Don't even want to upset with me that I promised to spend more money than he's ever spent on fish.
Yeah. Not even paid for it. Crazy. Anybody else have any no withdrawal? Latent powers are abundant and all that stuff, or not? Yeah, more good. Talk a little more.
Kind of being amazed with his I see chats, but when I'm at home, sleeping. Because while it's going out and like that,
yeah.
Anyway, if you want to get up, it's that it's like exactly get up.
Yes. Yeah, it's frequency thing, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Sure.
Just to reflect.
Yeah. Islam. Anybody else? Anybody else got any testimonials? Drawley stepping in and
Can't lie, it's been like, this where I shouldn't be, I went to like the model center, and I was just having this European told me he was native. I'm like, yeah. So I was like, yeah. So then after that, I was like, so what tribe are you from? Then after that, he was like, oh, you want butter? They always say on triple. Every one of them say a triple. This is our first one. So then after that, I was like, oh yeah, one more. After that, this guy does not want to talk about history no more. He's jumping right to, oh yeah, so did you watch a sports game? He's like, I'm like, yo, why is this with you guys? Whenever I bring up the boys, you guys do not want to bring up history and all this stuff no more. I don't get it. Even our own. One of the things that I wanted to one of the other things that I want us to hear, this is going back and taking from the Euro. He's explaining to me that there's this movement, we don't know because we're on the other side, where these people up north are meeting. These are sort of like what I would call, for lack of a better term, clansmen.
They're meeting, these guys are planning, these guys are doing these same things in large numbers, talking about how to keep us down. And my friend was talking to one of these guys, because I was one of his good friends when I wasn't around, who was related to me a story where the guy was talking about the meetings that they go to. And so then my friend, his name's Morgan, right? Redheaded Scottish guy, you know, so that sort of, he started messing with him. Yeah, I was at the meeting. I was at the meeting too, right? Playing with the guy, because that's how he is. He's one of those guys, like you, playing with him. But he said, yeah, I was at the meeting. He said, yeah, so you see what the guy was saying? He said, yeah, he said, that was great. And then as the conversation goes on, the guy who was actually at the meeting realized that he wasn't at the meeting, but realized he's giving up his shit. Right? And my boy was telling me this, but what I got from that was that there are people out there, they are meeting, and they are talking about us. And when you see them and they don't give you that smile and that shit, that's because they know, and they're about making sure that you don't get ahead. So like Tom said, you can smile, let's say top and away to you, but they're really about getting up in your behind and effing your stuff up. Now you're smiling, thinking that things are good. Everything's cool. Like, and it's not. I'm telling you, it is not.
Yeah.
And that's why, as you know, the further north you go, the more those dirty looks you get, the more resistance you get.
You don't go to California.
You're not talking about, you mean the region.
Yeah, the region, they do that too. They'll probably choose you in the back. We talked about all before.
Yeah.
You want those?
Yeah.
Did you see the market? Huh?
Good class.
That's why I posted that page from the book that I'm reading, all the His Majesty Yankees. I posted that page in WhatsApp that talks about the time before everybody has a WhatsApp. It talks about the Micmac, and this is from the author. The book was written in the 1940s. I don't know who the author is, but the perspective is of a Caucasian person in Nova Scotia during the Revolutionary War time. And he's talking about the Micmac and how when the author writes it, he puts the chiefs of the tribes go to the British and they get guns and ammunition. But if they went to the British wouldn't give them any. Caucasian from Nova saying that as so-called white Nova Scotians went to the British to get ammunition and stuff to defend themselves, they would get nothing. But it's the chiefs, and they put in quotes, meant to them that they would get all the ammunition, and then the Micmacs would sell the ammunition and the guns back to the Caucasians for a higher price.
Yeah. I have a question.
They don't wait it.
British back in those days, right? The Majesty, you said queen, whatever you call it. She had a set of it's like she had I forgot what they call it, like defenses or whatever. Royal guards, huh? Royal guards. Yeah. Like, during slavery time, a lot of our families were fighting civilian, fighting the civilian war for them or whatever, right? That civil service for their I have pictures of us like having fences, turbans on, and we're wearing not even like British attire. We're wearing I guess you could say like Islamic attire, but we're still fighting for the British or whatever. You know what I mean? Or I think we were fighting for the British or whatever. But timeline, this is like 1800s, 1800s times, right? So I'm pretty sure when you're saying like Chiefs would probably be speaking us, right? Like
no, I'm talking. What the book is saying is that these people that went to the British and get arms as Micmac, they were just another group of Caucasians.
Oh, okay.
At that time. Not that there weren't Moors and there's a Moorish connection, but I'm saying specifically that book is talking about a certain fraud that's going on. Whereas if you're just living in Nova Scotia saying I'm German, I'm from Germany, I'm a German living in Nova Scotia. I'm from Ireland.
You get no.
Then you get none.
Yeah.
See, and they push them down. They stop that, and that's really historically accurate. They push them down. They're the first niggas. You understand? We're the first slaves. Push them down. But if those people said, okay, we'll go breed up a Moabites and form up a tribe so that we can make a treaty with you, and then
they'll be down with
you'll
that.
have paperwork that says, you know what I mean? So now you're not white anymore. You're a part of your tribe. But now we as the empire control the world that we have a treaty with these natives. So it's all good. You get me?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That was the hustle.
That's the hustle.
$5 Indian.
Yeah. Well, no disrespect to those who are real and legit or try to keep it that way, but that was the hustle.
You want to go on?
Yeah. Prophet Noble Jew Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the Moorish movement, as the Moorish hordes are priests here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the road years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. Right? Knows the people within his ranks who are interested. So we know that people who get involved with this are people who they were anciently tied to this in some way, shape, or form. Right? They're not part of this because they were looking for something in their life and then they bumped into this. They were looking for something in past lives, why they bumped into this in this life. Right? Because of the things that are being presented, the things that are being resurfaced with regard to us. You know, the fact of the whole status issue, having a nationality, you know, recognizing that there's no God outside of yourself, you're it. There's no middleman that's gonna make you meet God or whatever. You're the middleman that's gonna help you meet God. You know, the bridge between the lower self and God is the higher self. So, you know, as we get more information, we're also gonna emit a certain frequency that other people are gonna pick up on to know where it is that they're supposed to go. You know, which is why we say with Moors, you know, we've gone the place of make flyers, hand out flyers, print up 500 whatever's, give out, you know, because, you know, people want this info. Hey, people don't want this. People want to sleep. That's what they're about. If they're about some knowledge of self, then they'll find their way here. Just like we were saying, you know, yeah, well, look, it looks like it's just us or whatever. And then you'll trickle in. Then trickle in, and okay, well, fine, we'll work with that, you know, because that's what it is that we were sent to work with, opposed to, you know, man, it should have been a lineup out the door and all that or whatever. How come there's not? Whoever's supposed to be here are the ones that's going to be here, because Juali knows the people who are interested, and then the ones who are on this frequency know that, you know, whether it's they heard about Moors or they heard about Noble Drew Ali or Fezes or something, there's some type of there's a connection to this that you know you've had before you even got involved in this. You know what I mean? There's lessons that you learned in past schools of thought that only when you got to this did you realize what those stuff were trying to say the whole time.
I was just, because some of the boys here were putting the sign up on the temple yesterday, so we were building a bit together. And exactly what Puja was talking about, I think the reason why he says all of us have gone through this is all of us have suffered through colonization processes. Most of us have tried to figure out why that is we suffer. And I was talking to some of the Moors, you know, it's because, you know, black guys get together they do bad stuff. So then, you know, you don't want to be that black guy. Or niggers do this, or whatever it is. Right? So you're fighting through all these, well, first of all, you're black, then you're African Canadian, then you're American, then there's all these different labels. How come there are all these labels, right? And what it is that you're trying to put a solution to the problem. This is what we came to the conclusion of. And we keep trying to apply whatever it is, most of us, right? Because then you have the gangbangers, right? Those are the guys who, I guess, they're the ones who are fulfilling that prophecy. Yeah, I'm a guy in the hood who's got a gun, and I'm looking to sort of wild, wild west. And those are the guys that they say that every one of us is. Yeah. Right? That's sort of the impression, right? So then we, as intellectuals, as Moors who are, you know, reawakening, we start going, okay, I'm going to start doing things because that's not who I am. But then what you realize is that thing keeps changing. You're never getting you're never getting a real solution to the problem that they keep telling you it is. Well, I thought it was because I was a nigger. Well, I'm not a nigger, I'm a black guy. Well, you know, you're not black, I'm an African Canadian, but I'm still getting treated the same way, whatever my title is. And then finally we stumble upon what really is the answer. Right? And now we're here. And to me, now that's the point. We're here now. This is the answer to it. Right? And this is the evolution that we've all gone through, including that picture. Because there's a picture in the temple of, you know, 40 years ago, 43 years ago, we're fighting against the racist immigration tactics that kept a lot of our parents not here, having come up in certain dribs and drabs. All of that is that same paradigm, just perverted to the time. They were stopping you because you were from the islands or something, right? You know, so my feeling is, and this is what I was going to say, we're here. I think most of us, you know, like this. What I went to some courses through my union about, you know, Aboriginal workers and workers of color, trying to figure out the problem. I'm like, I don't want to see videos of people being treated racist. I don't need you to recount how these things. I said, I was wearing the fez. I said, what's going on here? I said, what are you guys doing? Oh, sorry. Actually, you know, you're being disrupted. What do you mean I'm being disrupted? I said, you guys are teaching nonsense here. Because then we're in the class, right? Well, we've been in this for 30 years. I said, 30 years? This is where we're at? Well, okay, sorry, Mr. King, we talked. You know, some of these guys aren't on that level. On what level? So the level that I was treated like shit because it's supposed to color my skin, you know this is not the way it's supposed to be. But what I realized is that they're running us around in circles.
They can manipulate anything. I was watching something on TV last night, and it was a very short documentary on Facebook. So they had Mark Zuckerberg and all those people on it. So basically what they do is, you know how they can censor people and tell you you can't be on YouTube because of your content or what have you. So they were showing a few different examples. And one of them was, I just want to get this right, something to the effect, there are too many Muslim immigrants, okay? And then the other part of it was, is it wrong to say that there are too many Muslim immigrants, or is it wrong to say there are too many Muslims in the country? This is in the UK. So the Muslim immigrants would be allowed. They wouldn't take that down. But the Muslims, they would take down. Because in their manipulation of the whole thing, if you target Muslims, then you're targeting a specific group. But if you say Muslim immigrants, then it's a political thing. How many immigrants should be allowed in the country? And it has nothing to do with them being Muslim. So this is the game that they play all the time. This is not something new, right? That's why races were created. Exactly.
Play that game. And the people lost. You're ready, check your phone. So these people who are interested, they are the vanguard of the Moorish movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. So we'll put that one out to all the Moors if they want to put on the record their perspective of active, not passive. Start with you back there, since
Active, not passive.
yeah, that statement. All of the Moors are active, not passive.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, I don't know. I just come from a perspective of effort. I feel like I see things that need to be done. Seems very sort of straightforward to me, sort of stuff. each effort would be like showing up to your stuff. That would be the first step, just showing up. I mean, that's what these guys, the Europeans in the world, just show up, bro. Even if you're messed up, just show up. You know what I mean? I just, well, if I'm useless, whatever, just show up, and I get it. Because, well, yeah, whatever. You know the Union Brothers? Just show up, bro. It'll be all right. You got a rule for that one. The activity to me is what we're lacking. So it's the number one thing. Even here, as I said, we've been here before, last year and a couple of years ago. We've been sensing, and I applaud all the Moorish in this regency for attending here, but I sense that there are others that are missing a little bit. And I mean, that's the first step. If you can't even show up, that to me is the active, not passive.
Or even to go further with the show up. Let's say, of course, if you can't show up, if you can't sacrifice, because the majority of people would say that they couldn't show up because of whatever.
So it shows you the value that you put in.
Yeah.
The value that you put in, right?
Yeah.
Because if you value it as much as whatever you value up there, you would make the sacrifice. You would sacrifice
right? so that you can be there.
Whatever,
Anybody else? All Moors are active, not passive.
I think we need to. I know there's a transition period. I think we need to stop. Sort of, we forgot how to read, and being active, taking that mental energy, and actually going through the words is a lot harder than the things that you can't turn off, like your sense of hearing and your eyesight. Sitting on the couch watching television. That is actually passive. Meanwhile, those same senses just being focused on something, that activity just reading. Needs to be promoted.
I would say choosing your battles will learn. Getting in the movement initially, everybody wants to be right in front. Even though Grant Chief is supposed to give you his experience doing that, you still just want to do that. But it may not be the battle for you. It's the battle that we should be on. We're talking about takes finance to build a nation. Maybe that's where we should be spending more focus on. And then our corona goes into talking about abundance versus economies. It's really about the economy. And this is what Omar's talking about, us doing work together. Doing things that are going to create businesses. Instead of wasting that energy, we're taking a day off, we'll fight $30 parking tickets. That's kind of something I do. So why do they do this? Use my
We're looking into the heat, knowing something going on.
Or taking the time to do something with the nature, opposed to or dealing with something that really is taking anything from you.
But I just want to add to that. I think taking that time to fight that ticket at times can be part of the process. So that you can go through some of those things. I wouldn't say that that's always the thing to give up, right? I might say, rather than just don't watch football for the day.
Yeah, I agree that everybody needs to go through that tribunal process just to understand what it really is.
Yeah.
And to be on the square with it, you need to experience that. But
that
it doesn't need to be something that you want to happen. Every little thing that comes about that table, you're going to jump on it and we'll fight that. That's not something. Right? It's more the time should be spent. Here we are having like an open discussion about doing things like we talk about having a meeting. We're having a meeting, we're trying to plan things, and we're going to set up some kind of project to do. That's the type of thing we should be putting it before those more often than wasting time. It's not wasting time that we are supposed to stand against those issues, but it's not every one of them. We're not every one of us needs to be involved in that particular area.
Concerned with getting to the point in front of with candidates from the United States, even before you get if you've been there once, you feel you've done You know, you got supposed to gain. You did what you were supposed to do. You know, you have that confidence to do the same thing again and get the result that you want to get. Then your perspective should be, you don't want to do it if that's there. Well, we'll leave you a ticket, or we'll do this, or we're going to call you back to that place. Right? If you don't want to do that. Right. And I'm going to crush you, you guys are soft. Because a lot of the times that's what it is, when you reach that certain point, you know what I mean? And I got there through multiple visits, but just for one thing. You know what I mean? By the third visits, I'm wasting too much time. You guys, I know you guys are soft. So, you know what I mean? And it's literally at that, it wasn't like, it was that moment that it was like, oh, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? They didn't want anything to do with it. So, and that's like going back to frequency and vibration, you know what I mean? My vibration changed from, all right, I'm gonna do this to, so don't even try. I am, I didn't have to say it. Right? If you say it, and then that's contrary. Right? But if you vibe it, if the frequency is already there, she sensed it. She looked at me and she was like, oh shit. And I said, yeah, it's supposed to go out. It's supposed to go out. And I'm intelligent enough to know how to go out. You know what I mean? So that's key. It's not, sometimes, like you already said, get back into a corner, drop the world on.
There's a perfect example for the Lord. I said, they call him to come to court, ask him to come to court.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
That's a crazy one. That's a crazy one. Never heard that before. Them calling. Another one to put out with regard to the active and passive. You can look up Regina versus Onibindi Bay, the Lanre's case, and his situation was them not wanting to accept his nationality card because they want to see a license. Right? So this is part of Judge Clement's judgment. If an arrest is unlawful, the officer is not. If an arrest is unlawful, the officer is not in the execution of his duty or her duty, and the citizen is entitled to resist arrest. Lambie was the highwayman that stopped him. Lambie purported to arrest Obey because he failed to identify himself as required by the Highway Traffic Act, which is you gotta have a license or whatever. That act, however, carefully circumscribes the arrest power. In particular, the power of arrest does not arise because a motorist refuses to produce his or her license. Rather, where the person refuses to produce the license, the officer is entitled to arrest without warrant under Section 17 of the Act, only where the person has also refused to give reasonable identification when requested by a police officer under Section 33 of the Highway Traffic Act. So they want to see a license. He said, no, I have nationality card. I have right to travel card. So I don't need to show you license because there's the ID right there. And the judge backed his position with, and as already noted, it's deemed that the correct name and address is suitable, reasonable, alternate identification. The circumstances authorizing an arrest did not arise in this case, and the arrest was not legal. It follows that those charges against Mr. Obey ought to be dismissed and an acquittal will be entered. Demand and refusal under Section 254 of the Criminal Code. Right?
What do you mean?
His transcript.
Oh.
The transcript for his case. And And this again goes in line with the whole concept of us trying to impart on our people that we're Aboriginal Indigenous people. So we have our own ID. We don't need those people's ID. Here's Judge Clemens backing that up, that once you have 2 pieces of ID and the addresses match, then you're good. You don't need to show anything else. As far as dealing with police officers that are under the Highway Traffic Act or are going to try to use the Highway Traffic Act to try to hold you to obligations relative to, you know, traveling or whatever.
Should be a big problem for all the people on here, you know, boys waking up and all, and we have that case law right there, you know?
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's just,
You know,
paving the way, like you're saying, you know, like things for the young and unborn, right?
and like we were saying,
It's unprecedented over here in Canada, right? Well, you just established history.
yeah.
I know, but does it repeat itself? Does everyone have to go through that same situation all the time?
No.
Well,
That's
well,
what I was saying. It's the frequency of, no, it's done. It's not something to be decided if I was to be in that same situation that I was in again, you'd be like, no, it's not doing this again. We are not doing that. You, the scribe, the clerks, the man, why would we not do this again? And not even no emotion, just what this, I'm wondering, why would we do this again? Yeah. On the record. I really want to know. Like, on the record, why? So I receipt that says,
Like, let's acknowledge the fact that happens. Like, if you're not, like, you being outside of this room right here, you wouldn't even know that happened right there, unless Kujo just read that, you know what I mean? And everybody has to, like, even when you read the Bible, everyone goes through trial and tribulation. My luck might not be Randy's luck. Randy's luck may not be his luck, you know what I mean? But just knowing the fact that there's truth there, I want to stand by truth instead of what's not true, you know what I mean? I know what's true. Like, I don't want to explain it, you know what I mean? Like,
No, that's
wrong,
not
right. You know wrong from right, so you do right. You don't do wrong. Why are you gonna walk a path of being like, you know, like everything has been due to that being false. So why would we go back?
They know the truth as well. So once they are aware that you are aware, they won't do all of that unnecessary stuff again, right?
Which is where
Your assumption is what you're gonna do to every single person in front of them until you make it clear that you're not.
Yes.
That's what.
Really goes back.
That's what's
They
happening.
won't even stop your replay. Whatever they put a note on your, they won't even stop you anymore.
It's like a first time. It's like a
Baptism.
yeah. So it's like a baptism.
Yes.
Let me add on.
But when you join a gang, right? And then the gang has to stop you and stuff like that before you join it.
Yeah.
And get initiated. You gotta get initiated, bro. It's not just stop you. No,
go ahead.
But it goes directly back to what you're saying about activity. Because just being yourself is being active, because everyone's going to try to put you into some kind of box, some kind of
you're gonna have to.
some kind of colorable law. So you have to be studying enough, you have to have the energy enough, and you have to know so that they're not going to put you into any kind of box.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, the government does a difference, right? It secures our rights, so you have to know what rights you need to secure yourself. It's not there to protect you. So it's there to protect humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And then it protects that just,
yeah. You wanted to jump in this for a long time. Come on now, brother.
I'm good. That's the biggest scimitar in his back.
He tried to do it, right? And one time where, not more than one time, but most total time, he gone was when they had 2 magistrates, and then there were several highwaymen. And it was just, like, why are all these extra people here for this one? But that
Yeah.
More energy for me.
Oh.
That was art.
Yeah.
And I got my instincts when, you know, actually not even that. They said I had no standing to work. Because I would not step into what they were trying to put me in. Right? Once I saw this, it was okay. This is it.
This looks like a robbery.
Yeah, this
looks like a setup. Yeah.
And the X part date and dismissed it and it was all good, but that's what Tess was saying, it's energy. They were testing me that.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you're here for the part, but somebody was saying that everybody's experience is not everybody's experience. So just because we have this right here from this brother, right? This is precedent for everybody, but I wouldn't go in and do what he did, like how he did it based on this, right? Because his situation was you know, in the moment, this is what he did, and the outcome was because, like the brother said, he went in with the energy already knowing that forget these guys. I don't care what they do. You could pull me out the car, you could drag me on the ground, you could take me in the back, maybe do the prints, do the whatever. You do what it is you're gonna do. Guarantee that at the end of this, you guys are dismissing this. You guys do whatever you're gonna do. Because I already know what my position is with regard to this. They might not know what your position is, but from an energy perspective, how you deal with them. Like there's Moors, for example, who like brother Tallahassee, right? He's a Moor that when he had a conveyance, he didn't drive with a license. And when he gets stopped, he just told me, I don't have a license. I'm not giving you a license. Well, you know, you have to give us no, but I don't have to give you anything. I don't know you. What do I have to give you? Why do I have to give you whatever? Well, this is just a warning or whatever like that. Every time. Yo, every time. No license, never got kidnapped, nothing. No hassling, no whatever. Every time, man's like, you know what? This is just a warning. I'm just letting you know that you need to go fix your license, or you need to go get one, or you need to whatever. Every time. No issues. You know what I mean?
It's the frequency too. Also.
It's the energy thing.
You know? It's not just so he just did whatever. It's the divine side behind that curtains.
Right?
Especially I find like before anything happens.
Yeah.
So if you're for whatever, not that you're on a frequency of defending from something, but you're on a frequency of freely moving. Like when we correct our words, it's like, have you corrected your frequency? If your frequency corrected, then and your words follow as well, then beforehand they have to match your frequency to even physically come to be attracted to law of attraction.
Yeah.
So if that's already the frequency, and they've already
know that they've done. Yeah.
The only reason they came was to be the order. They didn't actually come to be good. You know what I'm saying? They didn't actually show up and work that day to throw you in the bin. You know what I mean? Or to drop a fine on them. Right?
No, it was your energy. Yeah, it's your energy that made that.
Because you came to be tested. You didn't come to be thrown in.
Yeah.
You came, okay, I'll come and work out today. Work out my mind in the pain. That was my frequency beforehand.
Yeah. You got something, Mama?
Just from the perspective of also saying that it should be our somewhat goal every day to not get penned up with any stuff.
With any stuff.
Even if we know what we're doing is right. To me, quote Claire Swan says, you know, I'm not into being healed up into your courts. That's the whole deal. Like, I want to carry, if I have to walk across at the light to save myself doing some bullshit with a jaywalk charge, I'm going to do that in a certain perspective. Like I think nature used to say that too. You know, they used to head out looking for trouble. The trouble will find you. That's nature all day. And you realize that was his thing. He was out there looking to crack some head. And you realize that at the end of the day, like you're saying, I'm wasting more time battling these people And in Exuding the Nation, it talks about competition. This is one of our things.
Who have the? You have the King Alfred right there. You have the King Alfred.
I want to hear mine.
Oh yeah, no, we want to hear yours too. But I just wanted you to read the. Just find the energy part. In there.
Before you read that, the count
Just look for.
If that's your energy not to get hung up, then if something was to happen with that frequency, then what should your expression be? Surprise, right? And remember, people can sense what's genuine. So if an agent comes to you, a highwayman comes to you, and you're surprised by it, he's gonna sense that you're surprised. Not scared, but just like, what are you doing? Why are you working at work? You got a uniform on, you're not working. That's definitely not part of your work. Right? And then they're gonna sense it and they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel awkward because usually people are scared of me or there's some other emotion. Why is this dude actually genuinely surprised? He doesn't expect for us to be having this interaction. So that's naturally gonna push him away. Like maybe I don't need to be here.
Just flip through, you'll see it. It'll say energy at the top of the page.
I'll let this more finish. One of the things, just to show you, we've started to adjust our seating into this fashion. When I was going to my union and stuff, they had great rooms, like rooms, and I call them great rooms. They're like boardrooms, but these rooms were 5 times as big. The tables were done in this exact fashion. They were done in a round table. That's what the whole purpose, when you see them on the thing saying round table discussion. This is the process, because this stuff creates energy. That classroom stuff creates a certain type of energy. Everyone in rows and everything. So if you notice, this is the stuff, this is where
it flows better.
This is where we should be at, make eye contact.
It's like a circle, everyone's
like. That's right, there's an energy to it. But it's an energy to that, as well as allowing eye contact and all that kind of stuff. So these are some of the principles that we have to get back to. And we should be having a Hamilton meeting once every quarter. And this should be a given.
Right? On the same vibe of the
and we should go there, we should be having it at the Masonic Temple on Queen Street, wherever. Rose should be in there with their aprons on, serving us, right? Instead of loud. I can't have it. Get me a drink, Porter.
This is not being passive is that this happened after Movement Drawing Day last year.
You know what?
The receipt that the highwayman gave me, it happened for me on a Monday, right after Drawing Day. So I wasn't really disputed, it just happened. It was common, basically. And then, whatever, anyways, they all come up and pass it around. I prepared a lot for it, everything that I knew from what I was studying. I put it into that energy. How I'm going to deal with it. From what I was reading, I put all that energy in it. Walking with the books, everything to the tribunal. And as a result, that was what happened. We'll just withdrawing.
Well, and just to be clear, so we all know any of us who've gone through that, they're never going to adjudicate in your favor about any of this.
Just read and that's from King Alfred Plan. Just read the cover. Just read the cover of the thing. Just read all that stuff.
For Executive Order 11490, October 19, 1969. Executive Order was authorized on October of 1969 to counteract the minority blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites. And their rise from the upper from up under depression and powers to be. It says the government King Alfred Plan. King Alfred Plan. In the event of the widespread and continuing coordinated racial disturbances in the United States, King Alfred, at the discretion of the president, is to be put into action immediately. So
this is we'll say so-called government document that they had a plan against blacks, Indians, Puerto Ricans, Latinos, poor whites who are going to be coming into knowing their self or whatever, and they're going to realize that they've been played and they're going to try to take the government out. So they said, okay, you know what? We're going to put ourselves up. We're going to put a plan in place. We're going to have certain things broken down from a logistical perspective, so that if this stuff gets out, it's not going to be looked at like panic, right? So the part in there that you're going to read is about energy, just so that for you to see how they're looking at, like when we say, you know, somebody having a certain energy when they do something, right? How we're talking as far as energy and how and what their perspective of what energy is two different extremes. So understanding where they're coming from with how they're looking at energy, for example, Brother Kobena brought the thing about he went to court and there was nobody but him and the highwayman and court people. There was no people from nobody else had a court date in that room. Nobody was allowed to be spectator. It was just him and them. Because they already knew that he was coming with a certain energy. So they had to put up their whatever to counteract his energy that they already know that he's coming with. Because when Moors go to court, they're gonna send a paper before they go there. They're gonna you know, they would have dealt with the highwayman in a certain way. So the word, like when we used to go to court, it was a thing where they would have like frosty windows on the court. And then we would see people lined up, whether it's people who are on that side, behind the scenes, checking to see what's going on in that room with those guys with the hats. We want to know what's going on. When we go out our room, other people, like who are just part of the facilities, part of the festivities for the day, letting us know, oh, you know, like, you know, you guys are the in thing right now for what's going on in this court right now. The highest case right now going on here right now shut down because everybody wants to go see what's going on in you guys. Just because this is something that's new, we didn't see this before. We want to know what the hell this is, because this is not normal. That people who look like you guys are coming in here and you're talking about, you walk in here with law dictionaries or whatever. Like, we mean you got law dictionaries. We mean you got law dictionaries. You know what I mean? So, and this is like, you know, 08, 09, early, when, just like what Brother Omar said, we want to beat something in the head every time. We're like, oh yeah, give us tickets. We want to go to court. Please give me a ticket so we can go. You know what I mean? And you would never get one. Right? The other side of the ritual. You know? But yeah, just so we have a perspective of how they're looking at energy.
King Alfred, by energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural sciences is study of sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are both-keeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science. And the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end, and the means is knowledge. The end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue: who will be the beneficiary? In 1954, this was an issue for the primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised in the view of law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or a world of people will not use their intelligence and no better than animals who do not have intelligence.
Read that one again. Read that one again. This is how they think about people who don't know anything, or people who, right? That's how they feel about it.
Although the so-called moral issues were raised in the view of law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such a people are beasts of a burden, mistakes on the table by choice and consent.
Right. So these people, knowing that they're dealing with vampires or whatever, knowing that these people know that these people put them on trees and stuff like that, they cut them open, they split them apart by horses, they put stuff on them, they chase them down, they had flyers, catch the nigger got away and all that stuff, and they're still playing like, oh, everything's all right, we have a chance because, you know, this guy has a prominent position of whatever, and this guy looks like us and he's whatever. All those people are part of the game to keep us distracted, which keeps us dumb, which is the energy that the vampire has to feed off of. So like we used to put out a thing of whenever there was a meme about when people were doing all the rioting or whatever, and all the protesting for all these people getting shot, and they had a picture of just mad people in the streets, just posing, and then they were talking about this is what vampires see: food, because all these people are at this whatever protesting, raising this energy that's going nowhere for them, but trust somebody's getting that energy. When you look at back in the day, even recently, they have people who like why would somebody have a quote unquote party, a dance or whatever in a Masonic hall, and why would those guys rent it out? Because energy, because they already know the type of energy that we freaking stir up or whatever like that, that they know that they could use when they're doing their little rituals or whatever like that. So anytime you see any type of dance and they say, yeah, we'll have a party in the Mason Hall, you already know these people are doing their vampire ritual. Right? Getting these people's sexual energy so high they can't even do nothing, and then they leave there, but the energy stays in there. And these people come, whether it's after a dance, these people come and they whop up energy. They clean up. The energy there might permeate throughout that thing for weeks or whatever, because of which room that they might use. You know what I mean? Do they let them have the doors open, or do they lock them in? Make them have their little dance or whatever. You know what I mean? All these spots. Because the whole thing is the light and the darkness or whatever, so they're gonna have to close the door. But like when we used to go, you would always find back in the day, you'd always find back door open. There's always back door open. Now it's one entrance now, one exit now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got something?
I was just going to say, from another perspective, because I work in the industry where we rent out and we sign all the time, I think there's a mundane level to it too, which is that's where I got in some of this info from, that they're renting out the hall to make fiat. It's as simple as that. Like they're renting out the hall for 10 grand a day. That's how they keep their shit going.
Right. But in relation to that is what we're saying. That the 10 grand is the 10 grand is the surface. But the activity happening there.
I'm saying it's the multi-layered sort of connection between it, which is the energy, but it's also the fiat energy that the game keeps them on the surface of where everything going and adding to the coffers.
Well, that's what he's talking about. Bookkeeping that bookkeeper that is the king.
Yeah.
He's the one who can say,
seeing what's going on.
Before you even decide to rent it, if you do rent it and they pay this much, it will be worth it. So yes, you get to go ahead to rent it. And then after you rent it now, here's what you brought in, here's the profit. Okay, then also that same bookkeeper, the same one who says, okay, we made extra profit now, and that's why he's so and then there's both levels, obviously, right?
And this is what I was saying before I got on that phone call about when you go into these tribunals. First of all, you're never going to go there once. It's going to be 4 or 5 times. Second of all, you're taking fiat on yourself, right? Because that's where you should be applying your energies to yourself. You're giving that fiat to them because they're dipping into your account to pay themselves to be your trustee, right? So that's where that's coming from. And then ultimately, there will never be a decision in your favor because that blows the whole game. So at the end of the game, after being there 5 or 6 times, they almost throw it out. So you're never getting the victory that you want, which is trying to create case law, which is going to change it. So understand that part of it, that facet of it is a facade. That's another illusory sort of rabbit hole that you're running down to get them to say, okay, Maury, you were right. It will never happen. And more than likely, you'll have 5 different occasions, and then you're making between 150 to 250 a day. You multiply that's $1,000. Any tip you get, We're far better off to just so-called plead the guilty thing, pay the 150.
The 150 opposed to 1,000 whatever
Reduce
for.
charge, rather than the 400 thing, they try to sell it in a box, give us 200 and we'll let it go, right? No, I'm agreeing with it, I'm just making sure that everyone's on point, that that even the work of trying to do something for the nation in that venue is a waste of time, from my perspective. Because they're never gonna give you that thing that you can then go back to. Like that, what do you call it, withdrawal of charges is just that. It stands on nothing. You can't go back to that to say, look, this is what I did, right? They'll just know not to mess with you. But that has nothing, that's not law. That's just you, them saying this guy's in trouble, so we'll get rid of him.
So you got this withdrawn. How much time did you have to go to court for this?
Nice, just to submit it and then just to go here. Wait for like a year or whatever.
So
You only have to do twice, even first appearances and all that.
To go register for a trial, you have to go in. So that time, just then we tried for that. That was it.
So one time, and then you sent that in, and it was only the second time, and that was it?
That was it.
But what was it for?
Sweden. So how did you? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
How did you get this withdrawn?
Go to a tribunal to hear whatever they were saying.
So they said you were speeding, but everything was okay. Like you had your license, you had.
Yeah, I said I was charged for speeding, like you said.
Yeah.
I would have been driving for speeding. So black never go page or whatever you would do, but I didn't do that.
Yeah. So you didn't. So what was your defense of getting it withdrawn? Like
I did not acknowledge that. I just said I need to talk about it, but I did not acknowledge that I was legal. I just thought
What he's maybe asking for is you obviously sent in all your other writs, which.
No, I didn't send it in the writs. I just went there, registered it as a one trial. Talk about that. What was it?
it's a speeding. He's going 72 and a 40.
What I'm saying, what I'm asking is, what is the dissertation that's in there? What you must have had some meat in there and had them.
Yeah.
You just want to go trial. You were saying you acknowledged himself. Did you acknowledge yourself as a Moorish American?
I just said I'm here to present myself in proper persona.
Well, so there you go.
That I didn't have to say anything.
So you didn't have to do any trial or anything? Like you went to trial, you didn't have to
I waited my time, which was I was the last one. That's the same thing that Rich is saying about everybody has their own.
And then once it's your turn to speak, you just said
they call you up and say, and I said, I'm here in proper persona talking about that.
Yeah.
On the table. So they didn't say anything when I said that. I said, I'm here. She said, sir, are you here because you're speeding? I said, I'm not here for anything, I'm here for that. Right? That was it. I'm here to talk about that. And then she just said, tell me your name. Then I started talking my name, and you're like, how do you spell it? So when I spelled it, what's that? How do you spell it?
And they just withdraw it just
like
that.
Well, let's say the question was the person who had charged you there?
He was in the parking lot because I passed him. He didn't go upstairs.
Oh.
He wasn't there, so he was
there on the property, but
he wasn't in attendance.
Because I saw him coming up here. So I'm saying, it's just, like you said, everybody's different. I saw him passing. There's a different highwayman there, but not him. But he was there on the property, but he didn't come upstairs an hour. He was just there.
So they just withdraw. But I see here, like, you paid $4. What was that $4?
That was for after I was asking for the printout, and they were charging me around.
Yeah, they charge $1 for a page.
So I called Fruito, and I was telling him, and I called him back. And there's another thing itself too. I said, I need the printout, because if you see that first page, the underline, make sure that's where
for the disclosure.
Right. So I was showing the judge or whatever man there, here is what I need this, but I'm like, sorry, you didn't hear what I said? It's withdrawing 2 or 3 times. You don't hear what I said? This matter is finished. So the Iron Man now was printing up the enemy. Where is it? It's like over there. So like when I look over there, it's a prosecutor office. I was going.
Yeah.
So when I call you now, going for my son, leaving from Brampton, going for my son now, the guy said, sir, your paper is ready. It was 5 o'clock, 5 something.
Yeah.
So I said, what time you close?
like 4 p.m. So like, what's this guy doing here calling me? So the paper ready, come pick it up anytime. He wanted to be this ago. I said, well, let's give it to me regular. So I could read it, whatever. Right? And then I went for it the next day. And I paid for the All-Star for that.
I want to say this, from that perspective, the speeding thing to them may not have been, but I'll tell you, that seems to be an extremely low amount of times to show up, but I'm happy for you if that's how.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I put my energy in it. I must have prepared, like, I wrote over 10 times what I'm going to say, 10 times in my library. Yeah. All of the books that I was looking for information was in the bag. Yeah. I had a black dictionary. I took the Google Draw stuff in the bag. So my bag was pretty much full of books, one in there. Right. So I had the energy with me. So I didn't want So yeah, you know what I'm saying.
And what was it they were looking to get from you? How much money? How much fee?
$474. That's
They got $4.
And that would have made like.
That was like a Supreme situation as well. Supreme, and we're just working. And Supreme got pulled over. Supreme principal. Yeah, and they got pulled over for suspended license. And I had nothing to do with it. They brought me into Milton the same like for one night. And then after that, like I witnessed Supreme beating him over the head with block. He was even giving him a chance. He was just like asserting his rights, asserting his right. And then after that, they just like, can you at least pay $100? He's like,
I was subject matter, you want to talk about payments, you understand the job. Who are you?
So just like when 50 cents. Right.
Everyone's supposed to be doing this because if we all do this,
like for example, this is what.
When I see this, I still consider that's the not to say that's not part of it. That's the waste of time. We should bring that energy into building our shit.
Yeah. And if we had been doing this, then we leave today and the ticket that somebody is gonna get or the pullover somebody's gonna get, it's not gonna happen. Well, because we've been doing this.
I'm not saying this, not even that. So 2 times, that's still $200, right? That he lost. Let's say it was $400, so it's 2 days, right? So $200, he was able to battle off. That was $200 that he could have maybe made somewhere else, or whatever he makes in a day. Do you see what I'm saying? Like those 2 days, they owe me those 2 days. That's how I look at it.
Like for inconvenience, right?
Yeah, like
2 days too many.
Yeah, the ones that make the deal and they say, okay, 300, 250. If you buckle under and you give them $50 and you put yourself into their jurisdiction.
Yeah, but sometimes
you accepted the contract.
Yeah, but sometimes
The contract. Say you accepted the contract. The contract would be, nothing goes on your criminal record, nothing goes on your driving record. We just want the fiat. If you're okay with that, then it's personal. It's up to you. It's your choice. If you want, they wanted to make a deal with me, and when they brought me out into the hall, and the Crown asked me, so we can make a deal and we can do some community service hours, and have a certain number of days that you stay away from the co-accused or whatever. I said, okay, so what do you mean I have to stay away from them? So, well, a certain number of days. He said, how many days do you think is good? I said, 0. I know. I said, no more than 30. He said, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. That's look, minimum has to be 6 months. So I said, 6 months, no, that's too long. We said, okay. You sure? I'm like, no, we'll go back to the.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Back to court. And then I also asked, okay, so the 60, and after the 60 days, any record? There's no record. She explained the details of the contract. Right? Remember, don't talk about the contract if you haven't read the contract.
Yeah.
And not every contract is the same. It's not, there's a standard contract that you can help every single person. Every contract will be different. And every contract is different.
And what you have to remember is that they're really, all of that's still the illusion to the fact that they're just dipping into your account to pay themselves to adjudicate over you, over stuff that's your stuff. That's really what's happening. So they don't care. They got you for the 2 days, the judge is making 600 a day, everyone in that court is making whatever, they bundle all that up and they attach it to you.
So this is why you do the math, and feel, okay, how much am I going to spend? Come back the second day, right? Okay, how much would I, what's the deal, you know? And so it could be better, like you said, it could be better for you personally to give the fiat and not come back, or it could be better for you to come back.
And I've done that at times.
That's for you to sit there and literally do the math. If you need to get a plate of paper and tell the crowd, give me a second, I gotta do some calculations, and I'll get back to you, then do that.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That's being more, not I always fight or I only just pay one way or another. It's not one way or another. It's you handle your business. And then you go to them knowing that they're a corporation, they're a business. And if you want to do a particular deal with them, you do that deal. If you want a different deal, you ask them for a different deal. If they don't want to give you a different, it's like if you go to the flea market and you haggle. It's a bargain. That's what it's a plea bargain. It's literally a bargain. And they're offering you, if you don't think it's a bargain, then you tell them. So I didn't think it was a bargain. I said no. And they came back and they claimed that I still was a bargain. That was their only way out.
Because remember that once we start presenting ourselves, they now always have to find a way out of not looking like they're human trafficking, not looking like they're doing color of law, not looking like they're violating oaths and constitutions and whatever. You know?
You don't have anything on your record, but you're still being a fiat.
Yeah.
You see, yet again, part of where, as I said, where we're looking to go is we shouldn't be talking about that. We've inserted a foreign entity into our existence. Right? From that perspective, we're trying to figure their stuff out. We need to figure our own stuff out. It's really about ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because that's what happens in all of those other communities. I was saying this to some of the Moors. I go to Chinatown downtown. I can go in there. They got a weed store in the back, and they're selling all the illegal DVDs up front. And it's open. It's like it's crazy. And I realize what it is that Chinatown is theirs. Yep. It's their town. No other force is coming into that town to do anything. Yeah. First of all, right. First of all, the movies they have the legal ones up front, and then you sort of gave her a little nod and she let you into the back room. Now that back room is the weed store. That's not even legal. Yeah. And you go back in there and get weed. Yeah. And then in the front now they got the movies just out, as if they just turned it all up. As if it's cool now. Yeah. So I'm sure that the movie people don't want that.
Say video 99 again.
Another part of the things that the movie company does is they're just assigning the money to you anyways. Remember, there's no money. Yeah. So they're just saying, maybe what they're asking those people to do is just keep a track of the movies that you're getting rid of, because we're going to just apply it to your account anyways. You don't have to go to a movie cinema anymore. We're just attaching $15 to your name, or to you as an entity. And they start to think that way, because it doesn't make sense. Right? Every time you put in a movie, it tells you about $100,000 that they're going to sue you. They find you
got bootleg.
Everyone's got burnt copies. You don't go to movies anymore. Yeah. Only the Europeans that can afford it, right?
Yeah. You got boxes.
Remember those guys who went on that thing waiting for the movies to download? 6 movies downloading. And the president got out to go to the watch.
We also wanted to make sure that I'm still gonna go before I go on. We also want to open up the floor for all the Moors out here. Just make sure, Make sure you get your questions out. We got about an hour and a half still.
Well, I would say.
About an hour. Got about an
I
hour
would say-
before.
I would say-
Yeah, we got about an hour. So
But I was
There's
asking,
questions
I was
up
asking some of the other boards about their experiences here. I think we heard from, here, is there anyone else who wants to communicate about, things here? Because I'll just give a brief, that I think that we should be looking to make this something that happens every quarter. We should be having this here. What I want to do in the summer, I was up with remember I started my first place up on Waterdown. I see that if you come up Waterdown Road, can't you see our water, there's a parking lot. If you're coming up Waterdown Road, as you guys know, there's a spot. Isn't it that it's like, you come up the hill and then there's free parking there, isn't that Waterdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Waterdown, I don't know. No, so you go up the hill and there's actually like some conservation area. You can park there for free. So what I was suggesting to the boards is that in the summer, we'll come up here and do a walk or something, but I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah,
that-
that's where we went.
We can see that in here by
Flamber.
we went to that side.
Yeah, Flambeau's good up there too, up top there, right? Flambeau.
Are you talking about water down in Burlington?
Yeah.
That conservation area.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, well, our concern is if you come up to Tombs Falls, and what's the other one? Tombs Falls, Supreme renamed Moorish Falls, remember?
can't remember those.
There's Tombs Falls, and what's the other one?
I'll be on calls.
The big one. There's the big one?
It's Flamingo, water downs, near the water downs.
Yeah, but there's two of them. There's Tombs Falls.
The one that when you can walk the path and it has the overlooks that you can see.
It looks like the Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a concert.
Spencer, yeah, I think that's the one, yeah.
So we were there one year, they were trying to charge us $10 to park in the lot, right? And we went to Tombs, where I think they were still wanting you to pay, they never did, but what I'm saying is moving forward, like, to me, it's not about going there to try and bow down for some tickets there. You know, saying the Moors complain about that, you're paying $10 for the ticket, so I don't know, but getting out.
Even in the summer, there are a lot of trails and a lot of nice sceneries here in Hamilton and stuff. So,
Sorry, what are you saying?
Yeah, if anybody has questions, especially the Moors that are out here, please feel free to put those questions up.
I just want to say, I appreciate our knowledge. Super informative, spreading, bringing people. It's not bad, that's not bad. I just knowledge. I want to know more about styling ticket stuff. I know your situation is specific to you. I don't know if anyone can just do what you did, but I'm sure there's certain steps that you're talking about.
We could definitely break down, probably the way it would be best is probably for you to sort of, if you have something personal, most of the time it is something or theoretical. You can say, I have this, for example, I have a red light camera, and it took me 5 times to get that thing done. I had to go in, you fight them, then you set a date, and then you go in, then they kick you out, then they find you guilty, and you go back and appeal it, then they open it back up again. Then they go back to that same court because they don't want to mess up their brother. And that brother keeps, and that brother throws it out. That's 5 times. That's 5 times. So you go back. So what happens is you go there, theoretically you go there and you say, I'm not paying this because you don't have any right over me. They say, you're an asshole, get out of here. Then while you're out of there, they say, they call your name up, and then you're not there. Then they say, well, he's not here, he's guilty. That's what they did to me, the ex parte, which is trying to pretend that you're not there. Because what I was doing is I was claiming that I was there as the true person, not the straw. So their argument was that the straw wasn't there. The appeal judge said, well, it's like if I sent my mother there, and he used the term your mother. So what if he'd sent his mother there? If my mother came and said, sorry, Omar, I can't show up, would he still be guilty? And the judge said, no, you have excuses. There are sometimes when you have excuses. The excuse was I wasn't there. So for them to then, because what the judge was trying to say was that the prosecutor was playing a game by pretending that I wasn't there when I really was there, but I wasn't there how they wanted me to be there. So their chicanery was to kick me out, call the straw back on. Since the straw couldn't be there, then they just say, okay, straw's not here, we were finding you guilty. So then I take that very information, go to the appeals judge, who's standing on a higher level of knowledge, and knows that he doesn't want this thing to go anywhere. He then says, okay, I'm opening this back up, but I'm not gonna adjudicate it, I'm taking it back downstairs. That's the sign to his brother downstairs to say, I better just throw this out. But at that point, they had me there 5 days, I'm losing $300 a day. So that's 4 days, that's 1,200, and then the 5th day, they said, oh, we're gonna throw this out.
So basically, appeal.
So basically, it's appeal, and you're never gonna get anything out of it. What you're gonna get is you're gonna get them letting you go. So at the end of the day, if you take $200 and you spent 5 days and 2 years fighting that at $300 a day, and they at some point say, hey, we'll roll this out and give you nothing to pay us $100. Like he's saying, you may just want to pay that $100. Now, if the point is that you want to get them to throw it out, that's cool. But I got a number of parents that say that, but that's just like paper.
Because remember, when they say when we look at case law, it has to be a legitimate court. So they can dismiss all they want in those traffic courts or whatever. It's not really a dismissal in that context because the court's not really legitimate, which is where with with Brother Omar's situation, you're not looking at getting caught up in the process or the things that are going on. You're recognizing from the jump, oh yeah, these guys are frauds, so they're gonna do whatever. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is the real answer to the next step is what happens is as you come together as a force, then what happens is we can't mess with those guys.
Because
they're not a revenue stream.
Right.
That's only gonna happen when we come together. If not, it's like picking guys off singly.
One by one.
Because they say, okay, we're gonna throw it $1 million and we make it, and that's what it is. It's a numbers game now. It's a lineup. There's 50 people there. If we get 20 of them at $300, that's $6,000. You know what I'm saying? We may not get all 50 of them. Then if we get our voices in with the lawyers, then we've actually spread it out, right? Because the lawyers get something.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll take some money, but we've already got the lawyers as part of the fraternity. Right? We'll let you off.
Whereas
We'll let you off the $500 drinking driving ticket. You just pay the lawyer fee.
Yeah.
And the ticket was only $500.
So I got court next month, so you're saying to keep appealing.
Well, from a perspective, from a prospect from where you're at, depending on, let's say, the charge, if it's a traveling thing, what I would do is hurry up and sort of get knowledgeable on some stuff, and then I would appeal it on the grounds of trying to get them to prove jurisdiction over you. That would be the first step, saying, where is your jurisdiction? Show me this proof. But the problem is that if you're coming at it from a straw position, then they've got that over you from the straw, because the very straw is part of their game. So it's like you're sitting down at the table. You're sitting down at the table with them. So ultimately, what you want to do is you want to sort of put them back on their heels with some stuff by asking them who they are and what connection they have to you. But if your connection is, so my strong name, last name is, let's say it's King, then what happens is if their straw last name is Smith, and they can say the connection we have is that Smith and King belong to the same family of names in the same region. So that's my authority. So you very quickly have to start indicating to them that you're not under their authority. That would be the first step. Right? Saying that I'm not that person, and then claiming and then asking them to prove who they are. And that's done in an affidavit. And then what happens is how they do it, and this is the numbers here, they get you to have to stand up. Start saying some shit, and then you gotta be on your stuff. And that's where it gets to. And then ultimately, they're gonna get in a yelling match. You're gonna say, you're not a judge, and they're gonna say contempt. And then once they say contempt, then they get the two burly guys to come in, that's why they need you have no guns and no people, and then they drag you out. Right? And then they've got control of you. Right? That's the game. You're always going to be in contempt because he's the master. So once you say yes to him, so your paperwork's supposed to come in, he's supposed to go, oh, sure, I want to be part of this. But ultimately, they've already got you. Because part of the thing is you should have been pulled over to begin with. You're probably speeding to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of causality where you're at. So that's where I would say start very quickly studying and with some of your brothers who have the knowledge about what it is that you need to start saying to them And then what's gonna happen is, in you trying to appeal it, they're gonna know that you're trying to appeal it. You really, very quickly wanna start hitting them head on with sort of their stuff.
Another thing that I've noticed when I was going to court is you gotta take note that the first thing they want you to do is plead guilty before you go to superior court. They want you to plead guilty because as soon as you plead guilty, they already have you in your jurisdiction.
Well, the whole point of that is, and that's why they try to give you,
It doesn't make sense.
so give you, no, but here's the deal. So they want $500 from you. This is what my mother said, because she used to be an attorney. They will try and throw 5 charges on you, knowing that only 2 of them are going to stick. But they know by throwing more of them, you're going to look the deal down, right? You're going to look. I don't want 5 of them. I don't want no seatbelt, no the speeding, the 1 headlight out, or whatever. I'll just take the 1. So they're always throwing more at you, so you take less. And then what they want is they want the energy of you saying, I did it. Because it's your spell, it's your words that convict you. That's why you never want to say I'm guilty unless
You shouldn't even plead at all. Pleading is
But here's what I was imagine. I had a $60 ticket. I had a $60 ticket. I was looking at this ticket, whatever. But I was looking to battle down, and it was like looked like it was moving on into okay, I got to come back again. And then they said $20, and it goes away. I said, F it. I got work on it tomorrow. I need $300. Why am I coming back here to fight this to get $60 when I pay 20 and they leave me alone? Well, this is like someone shaking you down in the corner.
And that's the whole thing with picking your battle.
You have to start in the way. If I got my work tomorrow, my Empress, and my good time, I'll pay you 20 right now, and know next time I won't speed. And then we get together, and then what happens is we start moving in force, and they start leaving us alone. That's what every other culture does, but ours. That's really where it's at. And you take, sorry, one last thing. You gotta take this as your initiation into where you want to go with this. Take this and go, okay, let's say it's $300. Okay, well, I'll eat this and make sure this never happens to me again. I'm gonna be on my square and my affidavit's ready, and I'm not gonna speed on whatever road, as an example.
I get put over it by a week, I always give them after this time. It's one of those things, right?
But for the situation too, like if you, depending on what it is and how much it is or whatever, you just use them like Brother Yasun. You use them as a test, whatever. Go try out the stuff. If it's a $60 ticket, then they're not losing nothing. You're not really losing nothing. They're not gonna kidnap you for $60. You go in there and see if the stuff, most they're gonna do is say, whatever, throw you out, ex parte it, and then fine.
So here's an example. I went to my straw one time on a ticket, $30 ticket. I did this. Send out your writs, it's $100. Send out your writs to all the people, it's $100. The ticket was 30. I was like, fuck this. I just took the writs out, it's $100. Just pay a $30 ticket. So I went in there. I said, I'm gonna go on the straw this time. So I said, hi, I'm the straw. I said, are you criminal or are you civil? Oh, well, we are a quasi-court. I said, do you know what you just told me? He said, what? At that point, I said, oh, sorry, sir. I said, do you know what you just said to me? You said, this is kind of a court. I said, this is a... Anyways, then he said, well, do you gave me a piece of paper and some pen. He said, why don't you start taking some notes? I started taking some notes. And then he said, do you have any witnesses? I said, no. I said, can I call the lady up? I asked her if I had a contract with her. The person that writes up the ticket, no, she doesn't have a contract with me. She sat back there and said, well, I found you guilty in the straw. And then he says, I'm going to find, so the ticket was 30. So then he said, I find you guilty. I was like, what the hell? He's like, but I'm gonna fix the court cost of $10. But that's what they've been offering me outside to begin with, 10. I said, not that, right? So then he's giving me 10, and then he's like, I'm like, 10? I said, what is this? He's like, what, do you have any thing to talk about the finances? I said, well, I'm not working right now. He's like, okay, nothing.
There's many ways.
So you see what I'm saying? He had to do what he had to do. He found me guilty and then gave me the way out. I don't work, I don't make money. So then he just canceled that. But that was for 30 energy drinks, right? But for the bigger ones, they're gonna hold on to it. Right? I'm fighting right now an insurance thing from 6 years ago for $5,000. Right, so then what happens is, I'm at the point though, because I'm doing stuff in my straw, commercially, so-called driving, which is transporting stuff to profit. So I have to keep that straw going. Because the people that I'm working with, contractors on that corporate side, and we have Moors down in the States that have their straw licenses to convey, to drive truck, so to speak. So you have to sort of keep that. So then you're juggling, you're keeping this instrument that's fraudulent, but to keep your family being fed. So that's right.
And that's the key when it comes to this type of stuff, right? There's, if you have a credit card or a bill and you're late, and you default, what happens? It goes to what? Collection. Right. If you have a ticket and you don't even show up, what happens?
Conviction.
It's for addition.
And then what happens?
Fine.
It doesn't go to collections.
It does go
Yeah,
to
it goes to
collections.
collections.
No, it doesn't.
Get a letter in the mail from saying that you gotta pay whatever you suspend those regulations.
No, if it has to do with the travel driver, it goes to collections.
No. No, it doesn't.
Who's ever had something?
No, that's
Collections.
I've
never heard of a thing that goes to collections.
No.
The penalty has to do with the license. The license is what we're talking about. The license is an instrument for conducting commercial activity, right? If your job is conducting commercial activity, right, for a corporation that your family doesn't own, then that's how you make your bread. So you have to consider that. That's why I said it's personal. There is no way. It's your situation. You have to live your life. You understand what I'm saying? If you know for a fact that in the next 5, 10 years, you're never, ever gonna have to be behind you for whatever reason, you got yourself a chauffeur. You may not even want to show up.
License means nothing.
Who cares?
Tickets mean nothing.
It means nothing to you. And there are people like that. You just live in the inner city, just take the bus all day. But who cares? You understand what I'm saying? It's specific. The first thing is you. The first thing is your situation. Right?
And it's also speaking of the fact that the license isn't yours, it's theirs.
It's theirs.
Right? So you're just giving them back what they have. What they've been doing is they've been giving you the privilege of operating on their land without their bounty men coming to F you up every day, which is what they've been doing anyways. They're shit under you saying that you're part of them. You're not.
You know, it's like I lend you my lawnmower, and then I find you doing something funny with my lawnmower. I'm gonna take back my lawnmower.
Well, more
Are you
importantly,
scared that I'm gonna take back my own lawnmower?
more importantly,
This is my lawnmower that I let. Who cares?
well, first of all, you bought the lawnmower, you gave it to them, they then let you use it, and then when they catch you doing something on the lawnmower that's yours to begin with, you give it to them, they then start sanctioning you on that, telling you that you can't have whatever. And you're the one who bought the lawnmower.
Right.
But then stupidly sign it over to them and then ask them to give you a permit to use that very same lawnmower.
Yeah, but the driver's license is not yours.
And then that's why they make you put the plates on it, because now the car's not yours. Because the plate now means that they own it. That's why I said Ontario.
And that's why when you register it with them, giving
And
it.
now you register it, now they own it again. So they have all these things set up in place to make sure that you stay in the jurisdiction so they can say fine for the takeaway or whatever. When they're really the ones, the criminals, because they're in land that's not theirs, right? They're really extorting you, because majority of people, if they didn't have to get license, insurance, whatever, majority of people will be like, it's all right, I'll pass. Knowing what that stuff comes with, they would not deal with it. And when you look at certain, we were talking about like the whole going to court and dealing with an issue. The information for us with regard to stuff like that, you go on RV Bay Publications, right? rvbaypublications.com. So the information that you seek is on there. But again, if you're if your mindset is, I'm here to try to get out of whatever, then this probably is not going to work.
That's what I was gonna say.
This, that you have to be in this to, I'm going to better myself to get out of whatever it is that I'm doing. Not that this is just, oh yeah, send this paper, bam, send this paper, and it's done. Even though it might run like that. It might go like that. That they get the paper and they're like, we don't want to deal with this guy. With every one of them. Every time you go to court, send the paper, and you just wait, go up. Oh, sorry, dismissed. Damn, 2 for 2. Like, all right, send another paper, see what happens or whatever. And it might go like that. But we realize that the people who get it like that, that's short-term freedom. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be in the context of even their children not having license. They're not even there in their mind. They're just dealing with, I gotta get out of this, with the taxes, whatever, and how am I gonna, but they're not even thinking about all these generations. How about them not even having to deal with what it is that we dealt with? You know what I mean? And then, and again too, that all the things that we're going through is, somebody was saying it's part of our trials and tribulations. Like it's part of our foes that we have to fight to know how strong we are. Like where are we really? You really on some Moorish nationality? All right, here's 5 tickets. Let's see. You know what I mean? And the ancestors go back in their check. Like, let's see you deal with this. You say, oh, you're a Moor, aren't you? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're a nationality birthright. Say, all right. Let's see how you deal with these CRA people, or let's see how you deal with whoever. Let's see how you deal with this highwayman who's just walking down the street and looks like you funny. You know? Why are you walking here? You're not supposed to be on this side of the street or whatever. You know? A lot of people fold under pressure. You know what I mean? Which again, you know, ain't nothing wrong. Just lets you know where you're at. Oh, okay, I'm obviously not there yet. Let me not, you know, go in the lines, then slapping up the lion and stuff like that, talking about, yeah, I'm the lion mouth opener guy. I can't stop that.
Oh, 1739. Yeah. Double check it. Yeah. 1739. That's the Maroons treaty, peace treaty with the Europeans in the 20s.
And Jamaica gained their independence in 1962. And Maroon doing it from 1739.
And that was a big joke. That was around the same time when they were having I think the US Barbary states, right?
But that's the whole thing. Because remember, these people are looking to escape the Barbary powers.
Before the US, it was the Barbary states. The Barbary states was all of Canada, all of the Caribbean, all over America, Florida, and if you're Jamaican or whatever, or whatever, you have enough family in Florida. You have enough family in Florida, and in Florida they have, I think it was Seminole tribe over there. But yeah, not saying that you're a Seminole or whatever, but just saying like that was just like saying like you're like Anatolian back in those days, you know. So like you had people living in those areas, you had family living up in obviously all over the place. We traveled. Nova Scotia, we traveled. We're just in one stationary area. We're all over the place. So makes sense.
Yeah.
It's covered.
Oh, good.
Oh, I just wanted to say, what is the response to the school board in regards to requests for that immunization?
They have their own form. They have their own exemption form that you can get from them, and then just bring it, and then we'll witness it that you're.
Basically, you're standing on religious grounds. I have that journey with my empress, because they called and said that her offspring is going to be
suspended or whatever, expelled or whatever.
Expelled from school. I was trying to back down, and don't do it. But she's, I love her for the perspective that she wants to sort of follow the rules, but she's also scared. She doesn't want to bow that. So I get it, don't wanna have your daughter stuck with some crazy term stuff, then go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, it scares me, it worries me, but.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, you know, especially with with stuff like that. It's you know, the good thing is that there's stuff in place that we can use to deal with it. You know what I mean? We have the religious right to say, what's in there? You can't tell me? Then you keep that over there. That has nothing to do with, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know?
No, I'm good. I just want to know, like.
Yeah. There's that way. There's even getting something from religious head or whatever, and then submit it. But the easiest way with things like that is just use their stuff that they're giving you to get out of it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Most of
Like,
that stuff's done because of the corporate stuff that other so-called nations have done, stand on their ground. You know, Hindustani guys just comes in with this little thing and they let him go because they also got a power base that runs Brampton, let's say. And they're standing on the fact that that imam there is letting them say, hey, that's the sign on. I'm a Muslim and I'm not taking it. And they let them walk on it. Yet you're sitting there as Christian property, they're telling you that your child or your offspring is not going to get any education because you won't let us poison them. That's really what's going on.
You won't let us poison their minds.
So they got that. They're just trying
Unless you poison their bodies.
trying to poison the body.
So the second one I had, just to bring up a point and a question. So, I started playing basketball, so it's a little school in Durham City there. So that each school, they have their showcases at the front, right? So whatever the theme is for the month. So I guess November, down by us there, it was,
Aboriginal.
no, Hindu Heritage Month.
Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of like hit me, I'm trying to watch the practice, but it hit me, I'm like, okay, what is like, look at it, talking about three deities and whatever, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, all right, like, so why isn't this Hindu history?
Yeah.
Okay, like, what's the difference between history and heritage?
Yeah.
So obviously I go to Google a lot, I
Yeah.
Googled it, and there is a difference between history and heritage.
Yeah.
And the reason they can't have black heritage
Because there's no such thing.
and the reason you can't, you know what I mean? You're not gonna teach Moorish history,
Yeah.
right? And then you're just exposing it. Well, now my question is, because I wanted to run the package music. I have a couple children in the school system. I wanted to run it down, but it's like the people that are proud, they're gonna, take real offense to that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, could we not ask the school during their month, their prisoner of war celebration, Black History Month, can we not ask them for 1 week or 7 days and have a Moorish Heritage Week?
The only issue with Moorish is that people lose tenure over that, and people not giving up their 50,000 check or whatever to teach about some Moorish. So it's either we're going in under the guise of black and teach them Moorish when they have this time frame. You know what I mean? Yeah, during black, but it might not be, like how we do our thing, correcting Black history, and then we start dealing with the, you know what I mean? It might be still Black history or whatever, but we're gonna talk about what's Black mean, what's history mean, why is it Black history, and then all around the school I'm seeing everybody else got heritage stuff, you know what I'm saying, and manipulate it in a way, yeah, you know what I mean? Manipulate it in a way that they'll let you in the door. They might even give you a room and a projector and a TV and whatever to do an after school whatever. But when it gets down, they're gonna get the goods, you know.
No, but I counter also with this that ultimately, who speaks to every other heritage has their own
school. That
their
too.
own stuff. So what you're really asking to do is you're really asking again to go to the enemy and have him allow you to have some time to teach them, your offspring, they're ones that they're trying to capture in their mind, about how to free themselves from that. it's absolutely counterintuitive, bro. But they can't do that. They were like,
No, not like teach, like you see the showcase. They
Yeah.
just put stuff in there, if you walk
Yeah,
by, you don't,
yeah.
you don't look, you're like, you're not involved,
Yeah.
that's like their,
well, it's
way to
like,
live.
Yeah, no, like I would,
Losing your job.
but here, just
yeah, but,
so in the industry that I work in, we sign contracts, we work on productions every whatever period of time. Every one of those things that I have to fill out has a Canadian heritage part of it. And I used to ask myself what that was about, but in doing the knowledge, I think what it is. The Hindu heritage, the Canadian heritage is a corporate construct that they created, even though it's heritage on its own, which is your which is your lineage. What it really is a corporate construct that they've made in the ethers to create a place that they can then say that you are. You're part of the Canadian heritage. So you remember, Canada isn't an entity; it's an illusion. They're creating the Canadian heritage thing, which is actually you creating the very entity that they're trying to validate. It's you and your signature. At the end of it, they ask for your age, your address, and then they get you to sign your appellation on it. And then all of a sudden they have basically they certified a bond you created under Canadian heritage. And that allows them then to extract funds from you. So ultimately, you wouldn't want to be Moorish heritage under what they're doing, because behind it, there's some corporate stuff going on. So that's where I see the heritage. That's why they're allowing the Hindu heritage to be there. Because somewhere in there, they've signed off on something and basically sold their children out in some form or another to Hindu heritage, which wouldn't be their Aboriginal and Indigenous name. It'd be like sort of saying, well, Hindustani would be the type of, would be the name that they have gone under, but they would also be areas, right? So it wouldn't be like, so it could be American, but it wouldn't be Moroccan. I'm really looking for your different jurisdictions. So Hindu isn't what they are. They would be Hindustani, right? So ultimately they're calling themselves the short. So it would be like Canada, the Kana heritage. You've created a subgroup heritage thing.
For the Afrocentric school. That they made up something because they want to have something. So the appearance is that they have something, but really they really have nothing like that. I was thinking about this too with the thing with the showcases too, is getting the children to acknowledge that that's them too and start celebrating those stuff. Send them to school in some Hindu stuff and watch people. Send them to school with the doc and stuff like that. See what happens.
Well, that gets into stuff that at the boots on the street level, your son or offspring are being called whatever, hacky, whatever they like to, when they start getting into that crazy stuff where they don't know what they're really talking about.
They call them nigger, so.
Right. But the point being that sorry, you were saying that getting them to
getting them to acknowledge that those histories are also theirs.
I know where I was going with. So the Afrocentric thing, there's a period of time when I was coming into this knowledge that Masonic knowledge came to me. And I met a guy, he was wearing a Masonic garb, and I was going to become a Mason. And one of their things, we were talking about finance, they wanted me to pay for one of these events. So I went to one of the events, and there was the president or the principal of the Afrocentric school. He was a Mason. And what I very quickly realized right then was that this was their answer to the fact that there was an uprising of this sort of nationalism being manifested as Afrocentric, which was no reason. They were going to answer it, and then my sister put my nephew into the school, and within a year to a year and a half, the school was closed down. So that was to show you what they did was they basically marched you around for in practice.
In the guise of
had your son, had my nephew go there as if he was gonna start learning all about being African, and then a year and a half later, think about what that does to your psyche. Right? I thought this was real stuff.
Yeah.
This is just an illusion.
But yeah, it's with the board, with the school boards and stuff like that, it's also letting them know your position too. You know what I mean? Writing the superintendent some writs like, yeah, my children go to whatever school, as long as you know that, you know, they're Aboriginal, Indigenous, or whatever like that. They're Moors. We don't partake in that. We don't got any questions or whatever like that. There's number, whatever. Give me a call. You know what I mean? Another example again with brother Yusuf in Massachusetts, same thing. That, you know, they're not gonna approach him on certain stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going there. They already know that, okay, this is what the standard is. So when we call him in, we have how we're gonna deal with stuff. You know what I mean? Tell them.
Just to come back to that concept of how to approach different situations, but if that's open public space. People are moving freely. You say, I want to talk to you about something to a stranger. They have the right to just say, fuck off. And like keep moving. Whereas the people who are, they're on their job, right? And they're trustees of your estate.
So I want to go back off of that. They're going on from our previous secretary, they're going on such a parent patria. They're basically saying that you signed off to the extent that you're making them the parent. That's the energy that they're going on, that you're not even smart enough to know that you just pass the job on. So we're taking that position.
Which is fine, but as soon as you step in, you're still a parent, and they're still taking a check. So they have to listen to you. You can push things on people who are working and getting paid. Whereas people in the public, the better approach in terms of getting into conversation is to listen, right? So the laws of conversation, laws of contract, right? If I haven't given you my attention and looked at you, giving you eye contact, and I'm not close enough to you, you can't say, well, hey brother, why are you walking away? I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but I'm just on my way. Like, it's not, you don't get to do that, right? In that position, you get an opportunity to teach them. If you can even teach them stuff, not even to the children, you can't even make it to the children, like you said, like he was saying, that's not, they don't want to do that, but at the same time, they're still at work, and they're still trustees of your child. So in a way, they have no choice but to at least accept things that you send to them and say, okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Did you read it? Yeah, I read it. And then, can I have a meeting with you? Talk about it? I'm busy. Maybe what time? There's no saying no. You know what I mean? They can avoid it. There's no saying no. Whereas people on the street now, you might want to say, okay, where are you from? I'm from Afghanistan. Oh, Afghanistan. Okay. Now you have a conversation because they responded to you, right? And then you can boom, and keep it going and get to more excitement. People who are already working, you can throw it at them anyhow you want to throw it at them. They got to take it. You know what I mean? So there's two different scenarios that we should ever, just in general, as Moors, when we're talking about reaching out, getting this information out, keep that dynamic in mind. If somebody's working on the job, right? And they reached out to you, or they're in a situation of school system, and they have a job, you already have the right to send them stuff. Anybody's an elected official, anybody who works for an elected official, municipal agents, municipal principal, vice versa, they have to take your stuff. People in the public don't have to take, people in their family don't have to take your stuff. So that's why I say you might want to just say, ask them, give them your ear instead of giving them your mouth. Whereas people who are working all the mouth, you feel like, you know what I mean? It's kind of a phone or whatever, but teach them, an opportunity to really actually teach them and find out who's really whatever their background, Caucasian, Asian, whatever. You know, send them something and actually show genuine interest. You don't know. And you go, okay, I really see, you know, I know this one, that one. There's going to be people, you know, I mean, you'll go to court and you'll find crown prosecutors, whatever, who look at you and be impressed by your ability to split. You know, when good job after I changed my hair. No, that was, you know, you're on point.
No, what the hell do you expect, man? Oh, me, bro. Yeah, the follow?
No, I was just going to say from the position of you talk with them being trustees, they will they have to, from the perspective of them having to acknowledge the fact that they are trustees, they're in a more precarious position because they're looking after you, or the offspring. You ultimately, when it gets looked at again, and they find you effing around, and then it's some 6-year-old or 5-year-old, it looks even worse for them. So they're in a much more precarious position. They gotta be much more careful with stuff. But ultimately, if you're not coming at them from a perspective of being in a superior position, a lot of their stuff they can get around. They can continue to say, your son, if your John Smith doesn't get a shot because you're saying that you're Brian Smith, he's not coming to school. Nothing you can do in that position is going to get them to wage that. When you do that wage that is when you can actually establish your superiority over them by demonstrating that. By saying that I'm not a minority. I'm not like my son, who I'm trying to be. Pursuing as a jurist, I am my own person. And I'm telling you that I don't want you touching my hospital. And then here's you guys exemption, whatever, signed by my religious leader or whatever, that we don't do exemptions in our stuff. And you guys' website right here says you guys respect the religion and you follow the UN, whatever like that and stuff. Okay, so we should have no issues with regard to should they get shots or no shots or whatever. You know what I mean? And then ball's in their court now. And then they respond, oh, thanks for sending in the stuff, no problem, and then that's that. Oh, I thought people were supposed to get expelled and stuff if they don't get the shot.
They don't, because I used to work at Staples like last year, and you want to see a bunch of Europeans that come in with the exemption form. Oh, I gotta get the exemption form for my son, da da da. I was like, and I was under knowledge from that time, so I was like, because I got to see all the forms that they come bring in and stuff like that, and I'm the one that's printing them out and stuff like that. The city has exemption forms.
So I know,
They have exemption, but we have our own still, but like, they have exemption forms. Europeans have knowledge of this. We know about the vaccination and stuff. It's us that are quick to do it, like it's, you want to see who wants to do it and who doesn't. You don't want to use your child as a baby.
You know, I bought them last year, right? So I said, no, I'm not doing this before I came home to help them. And I'm writing back and forth with the lawyer from Durham and all that stuff. Came to the time where they said he's suspended at this date. I was still bringing them because he wanted to go. I said, you never gave me no suspension. I've been suspended. You never gave me
you give me nothing.
It's 20 days. That's a serious suspension. Like,
you have to give me something. Yeah.
No, we don't have that. It's not one of those, like, so I kept bringing it for 3 days. Then they threatened me with the Italian people, saying that they were gonna call them and said, I'm abandoning my child out of school. So I got them home. After the 20 days, they rescinded me. So same type of thing, not giving me no proof. They ain't giving me nothing to say, yeah.
And you never got the shot last year? And they still rescinded it or whatever.
They rescinded it after 20 days.
Yeah. But no shot.
No, they said we found something to something.
Yeah, we found something.
Seriously, I still have that.
We found something, no shot.
You know, I don't have nothing to say, yo, you guys can't do this again, or to show everybody, oh, this is what they said, use it. They're like, same thing, like they'll let me dismiss. Went there 5 times, now dismiss, it never happened. So I'm just, if I know last year they're gonna do that, I would have planned a vacation or something.
Nothing, yeah. That's all it is, yo. Some try. Yeah.
You're cool, Joe. March. You want to do the next one, March?
Yeah, it should be good. Because I think we're shutting down till February. But we're supposed to go to Ottawa in February. So yeah, March will do. We might even talk to Omar. We might even try to coincide it because we always do something for the solstice, for the spring equinox. So we could probably incorporate doing the walk and whatever and the lecture or something. But yeah, just finish up with this Kavit tour. A few feet below is another road where schemers walk, where traders grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they are on the same road with true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their bones bleach in the sun-true midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high, cats scent, devour, and leave crying out, Kavit Tor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, purveyors, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks wait. Islam.
We're just gonna pass around the sheet for everyone to sign if you'd like, just as a sort of
An attendance or roll.
what we see this as is hopefully, 20 years from now, when your offspring are, looking through the records, they'll see Pops was here, your cousin was here, whatever, right? That's what we looking at this from. And then I'm thinking that, Rennie, because we got this till 6, I think we should probably wrap up now. Personally, what I see us doing is wrapping up, and then, like my stepfather would say, it's not about goodbye, it's about when are we going to see each other again?
Yeah.
We've got no Bureaucracy Day under a month from now. There's going to be some big guy, hopefully some, I don't know, we're going to have to watch music or
I'll do some flyers. January 5th, Noble Juali Day celebration. That's every year. This is our ninth one. Again, we say, pack up the ride, and bring as many people as you can. We're doing the same theme as last year. Food included with donation, $25. You get your food. You get a food plate, and 15 or 17 or something, 13 or something like that.
I think it's 15 without it, and 25 with the plate of food. We've obviously been working on sort of just making sure we're getting our so-called fiat worth for your plate of food. The next plate of food hopefully $10 is what we're looking at. We've got we're in Ottawa in February.
Yeah.
Making a music event then. If not, we go there every year to have countering it's so-called Black History Month. We go every year to Ottawa. I think this might be our 4th year there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Speaking of Ottawa, this is showing how much unity there is. Brother elder
Yeah.
brother at the meeting last night, it's like, yo, if I don't know today, he's like, hopped on the bus or even walked and came here.
Yeah.
The voice of Ottawa.
Straight. Yeah.
The group message me too. About when I made the little video about today, about the message me too.
Yeah, it's probably Alfonso. Islam to brother Alfonso. And all the Moors out in Montreal and Ottawa. So if anybody have any closing questions or comments, we're looking at, they were saying March, Brother Omar. I don't know if you want to try to do equinox, spring equinox, something out here. Maybe do that fall thing again or something like that. Try to set up, do a little walk early. Maybe before the lecture, we go do a little walk and then come back to a lecture or something. So,
I don't know if it would work being able to go to that spot to do it.
yeah, not there, but something. I mean,
we're talking also, I think that it costs quite a little bit of fiat for this, right? A little bit in the building. I'm saying a little bit of fiat to get this spot.
That's what I'm saying. I was just going to say thanks for everybody that showed up. It's not about really I just wanted people to come. I just wanted to people to fill it. People like you're talking about earlier. This is not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate everybody that came out today.
And then the other thing too is with assisting each other with this happening regular, but as your group out here, of Moors. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this elaborate. It could be at Timmy's or something. You know what I mean? Just find a corner, couch, library, find a corner, couch, just get some books, do some reading or whatever, do some studying, do some building, whatever, just to keep the energy going, you know what I mean? So that when you know, March time comes around, it'll be a thing like what we were talking about, that, yeah, we have the thing and the Moors out here are here before everybody. You know what I'm saying? Right? Which we know based on our pattern, once the work's done, is gonna get there. You know what I mean? Once there's a door open for people to say, oh, I can go get the whatever there, then, you know, eventually they'll start rolling in. I don't know if you had any other closing remarks before we close out.
No, I'm just saying, like I said again, thanks for everybody that came. Especially the select few that came in Hamilton. So,
Yeah, sure. That's how it goes.
There's an expectation to disappointment, but March again, you know, we're gonna put in the work more, see if we could put it out there more for March.
Well, like we were saying too, it's not a thing of you know, 5 million flyers. It means 5 million people are gonna reach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always had a thing that anytime we do some type of lecture, presentation, class, or whatever, and we see that there's empty seats, that's the ancestor seats. Those people weren't. Nobody was supposed to be in those seats, right? You know what I mean? Or any empty seat. So know that you know, something got done just with y'all being here. That being that you're out here. Same thing that we say with, you know, we got people coming from all over the place. We got people coming from Hamilton to come to class or whatever. You have Moors down the street don't even come to class. You know what I mean? Moors around the corner are not at class or whatever. So honors to you for, you know what I mean, taking at least the initiative to get something going on. You know what I mean? And all the Moors everywhere, wherever they're at. You know what I mean? Taking the initiative to at least attempt to have something going on, so that, you know.
And the Dundas Moor too, we gotta give a shout out to the Dundas. It's actually no older jurisdiction than us. The Dundas, which is part of Hamilton's older than Hamilton itself. Yeah. Right. So that's some more history that we got research on.
Just a heads up, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing a winter solstice walk for the offspring. Further details, and that's just to keep from the perspective of Moorish culture. And we continue to have events that we sort of sponsor and are the initiators of. Because I think that comes about that energy. So just to let you know, 2 Sundays from now, we'll be meeting at a certain spot in the city. You might have to spend about $8 or $9 in parking, so-called, or if you can find some spot, you can sort of canvass the area, and let the offspring take a little run out there in the cool air and tire them out, that kind of thing, on one day, and then this can evolve. You know, we're also thinking of bringing them to Sky Dome, then we're like, okay, we'll pay for the offspring, and the parents have to pay. So we have it seems like we have fiat finance issues, a lot of us, right? It doesn't seem like we've got any multi-millionaires here, like a lot of these other organizations, right? So, I know, some of that.
Yeah. Just want to quickly shout out to the Moors Online for all these
It's long to the chat Moors, the chat muftis.
Yeah, we've been on from.
Yeah, it was tripping out, but then I restarted my computer and it was working.
And then, so I think we've also brought some literature back here. Sort of, Joe had made some choices on some stuff. There's still some catered food here. That's just
work tomorrow if you need, you know. You want to cook tonight.
Islam. So
So we'll close out.
We'll close out, and then I think we're supposed to be out of here by 6. So what I would ask of people is that in about 15 minutes, we're going to look to start to
Get ourselves cleaned up to be out of here. Let's just close out with our prayer. Islam to all the more than chat again. We'll connect probably tomorrow because we got some videos to deal with. Five on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Jawali, Islam. Ashe. Ashe.
I couldn't believe I see it. Not even